You're in Konoha, and you call these ninja tools? This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 176. Would you like to think about it again? Uchiha Obito fled. Shimura Danzo died. A reminder sounded in Shionyu's ears. Ling. Congratulations to the host for completing the task. Kill Shimura Danzo. System reward, 1-hit kill, Mura same design. The battle is over. This drama has also come to an end. In the sky, the heavy snow has stopped. Senju Hashirama and other strong men who were reborn from the impure world reincarnation, together with a group of Konoha ninjas, rushed to Shionu. When passing by the ice flower, Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama stopped and looked at the strange ice flower carefully. Ice escape can actually be used in this way? Unheard of. After observing the ice flower, Senju Hashirama's eyes were full of admiration. Konoha talents are emerging in large numbers. Looking up, Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama looked at each other, and both of them smiled. With people like Shionu in Konoha, the two of them can leave this world with peace of mind. Tap, 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 they walked towards Shionu again. Hashirama Senju looked at Shionu with full approval. Not bad, not bad. I didn't expect that you are so strong at such a young age. I underestimated you before. After being resurrected by the impure world reincarnation, Hashirama Senju thought that Shionu and Orochimaru were not strong enough, so he asked them to act as thugs. After seeing Shionu's domineering 1v5, Hashirama Senju knew that Shionu didn't need them to act as thugs at all. They were summoned by Shionu to judge Sarutobi Hiruzen, whose hands were stained with sins, and to make the corrupt Konoha rejuvenate again. What should we do with this person? Tsunade stepped forward and pointed at Hoshigaki Kisame, who was not dead yet, but was seriously injured and unable to move, and asked, "Send him for interrogation first, and see if we can get some useful information from him." At this point, Shionu paused for a moment. Don't rush to kill after you get the information. This person may have other uses. Hoshigaki Kisame is a very good tool. Before he betrayed the village, Hoshigaki Kisame's actions were worthy of Kirigakure and he did many good things for Kirigakure. After joining Akatsuki, Hoshigaki Kisame believed Uchiha Obito's lies. He was also hardworking and went all out for the peace of ninjas. Tianyu couldn't hate such a ninja. After taking off the colored glasses that were influenced by the original work and thought that Hoshigaki Kisame was born to be a villain, Hoshigaki Kisame is an excellent person who is dedicated to his duties and is seriously carrying out his ninja mission. Maybe we can try later to see if we can subdue Hoshigaki Kisame. What should we do with the bodies of Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo? Tsunade asked again. As Sarutobi Hiruzen wishes, grind his ashes together with Danzo. But don't scatter his ashes in Konoha. Throw them all outside the land of fire. These two old guys are both evil and unforgivable. Scatter their ashes in the wind of Konoha. Would Konoha's PM break 3.0? A laugh rang out, and Senju Hashirama took a step forward. Young man, thanks to you. Sarutobi Hiruzen actually colluded with Danzo and did so many evil things, turning Konoha into a rotten village. If you hadn't stood up, Konoha would continue to rot. Senju Hashirama's eyes had a hint of admiration. Although I'm dead, I still thank you on behalf of Konoha as the first Hokage. Thank you, AIM. Hearing Senju Hashirama's words, all the ninjas in Konoha were silent. Shame. They were ashamed. The one who saved Konoha and revived Konoha was not one of the mainstays, but a 13-year-old boy. He was praised and recognized by the first Hokage. It was a great honor for any ninja, but Shionu was walking outside the courtyard with a calm attitude. He nodded very calmly and responded, "It's okay. I am also a part of Konoha, and this is what I should do." Seeing Shionu's attitude, Hashirama Senju was even more satisfied. Tobirama Senju also nodded repeatedly, and he was also very satisfied. Shionu is a person who turned the tide and supported the building that was about to collapse. He made such a great achievement, but he can still remain calm in the face of praise or disgrace. These two generations of Hokage who have made great achievements believe that Konoha will soon be under the leadership of Shionu, sweeping away all the haze and ushering in light again. Such a big thing happened in Konoha, it can't be hidden. Other ninja villages should know about the turmoil in Konoha soon. What are your plans? As the teacher of Sarutobi Hirozen and Shimura Danzo, Senju Tobirama is also an old politician. Of course, Senju Tobirama would not do such a heinous thing as his apprentice. It was rare for him to be reborn through the impure world reincarnation. Senju Tobirama felt that he could still contribute to Konoha and help Shianayu with some advice. Plan? What plan? Shianayu was stunned. Seeing the meaningful eyes of the two Hokages of the Senju family, he reacted. Shianayu is not stupid. He understands what the two Hokages mean. He smiled. I don't need to worry about this. It concerns Konoha. This matter should be considered by the next Hokage. Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama were also stunned. What does the next Hokage mean? You don't want to be the next Hokage. The two respected Hokage spoke at the same time. Shianayu spread his hands and shrugged. I don't have such plans. It's true that Hokage is in a high position and has great power, but Shianayu thinks that he is a very responsible person. If he takes on this position, he will definitely do his best for Konoha. This is really too tiring. Shianayu is not very happy to be the Hokage. In addition, he is the one who overthrew Sarutobi Hirozen's tyranny. If he takes over Sarutobi Hirozen's position, it will inevitably give people the feeling that the dragon-slaying boy has become the dragon. Therefore, Shianayu has never thought about being a Hokage. People in high positions and powerful positions need to deal with mountains of important documents most of the time. Those things are too cumbersome. If there is such time, wouldn't it be nice for Shianayu to lift iron in the forging room? Staying in the forging room for a long time will make Shianayu sweat. Well, it's really not nice. But if there is that time, talk about life and the future, talk about love, with Hinata, this should be better than being a Hokage, right? Hearing Tianyu's refusal, Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama looked at each other. Their eyes were full of confusion. What should Konoha's new Hokage do? Tsunade, come here. Call Tsunade back and let Tsunade introduce the talents in Konoha to the two of them to see who can take the position of Hokage. The third generation Hokage Sarutobi Hirozen died, and the Konoha high-level Shimura Danzo died. The Konoha Elders group has also entered a state of existence in name only. At this time, Konoha must have someone to take charge of the overall situation. On the field, Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama, as the first and second generation Hokage, are the most qualified people to choose the next leader of Konoha. After talking with Tsunade for a long time, Senju Hashirama scratched his head. He raised his head a little embarrassed and looked at Tianyu. He said, Hokage. It's actually a good position. Or, you think about it again. Chapter 177, Hokage Selection. At the hopeful request of Senju Hashirama, Shianayu shook his head again. I'm not interested in the position of Hokage. After saying this, Shianayu walked straight to Orochimaru, said a few words, and then turned and left the scene. His departure showed his determination not to be Hokage. Everyone, listen to me first. Orochimaru suddenly spoke on the side. I will cancel the impure world reincarnation technique in a while. If you want to reminisce with your deceased relatives, now is the time. Yes, Shianayu came over and told Orochimaru about the impure world reincarnation technique. Impure world reincarnation is a very convenient ninjutsu, but Orochimaru is still a little overwhelmed to summon such a large number of people at the same time. Shianayu told Orochimaru to leave some people behind and not to cancel the summoning technique, and then went home. As soon as Orochimaru finished speaking, the Chunin exam venue completely turned into a family search meeting. Many people were in tears, and they looked at their deceased relatives who were recalled, full of emotion. Father. Hong, don't cry, I believe you will become an excellent ninja. Kakashi. Hatake Tsukumo was also among them. He looked at Hatake Kakashi, who also had white hair, with tenderness. You've grown up. This father, who is not very outgoing, just said this sentence, but it made Kakashi burst into tears. Father, I'm sorry for you and the Hatake clan. The Hatake clan's swordsmanship was thrown away by me. Hatake Tsukumo raised his hand, and his hand froze in the air for a few breaths, and then he took his hand back. It's okay, you don't have to apologize to me, you haven't let me down, nor have you let the Hatake clan down. No matter which way you choose, I will support you. Hatake Tsukumo's gentle words sounded, and Kakashi not only didn't feel better, but became more ashamed. Sometimes, tenderness is more heartbreaking than scolding. Sasuke. Uchiha Fugaku helped Uchiha Sasuke, who was hit by Tsukuyomi and fell to the ground, up. Fugaku understood the look Itachi gave him before. No one knows a son better than his father. As a father, how could Fugaku not understand Itachi's intentions? Alice, Itachi, you don't have to be so harsh even if you are acting. Uchiha Fugaku raised his hand and slapped Sasuke's face twice, but found that Sasuke still did not wake up. Orochimaru said that the impure world reincarnation would soon be lifted, and Fugaku must convey to Sasuke what Itachi had told him. Uchiha Fugaku, in his impure world reincarnation, surged with chakra and pierced into Sasuke's body. There was no other way, so Uchiha Fugaku had to wake Sasuke up by force. Suddenly, Sasuke and Uchiha Fugaku's arms woke up and let out a roar. Itachi, Uchiha Itachi. I must kill you. Nijiru's eyes were full of bloodshot, and under the stimulation of Uchiha Itachi, his Sharingan was upgraded again. In the Tsukuyomi, Itachi gave the image of him killing Uchiha Fugaku and Uchiha Mikoto with an evil face. In the Tsukuyomi, the shock on his father's face and the fear on his mother's face were deeply imprinted in Sasuke's mind. Nijiru swore that one day, he would let Itachi die in the abyss of despair. You woke up, time is running out, I'm about to leave this world, I have something very important to tell you. Sasuke, listen carefully. Sasuke, who was still immersed in anger, met Uchiha Fugaku with a serious face. There was a hidden story on the night of the Uchiha genocide. There were too many forces involved in this matter, so I don't need to tell you more. Konoha should make this matter public later. Next is the key point. Don't hate Itachi, your mother and I died voluntarily. Itachi participated in the genocide to protect you and save you from the genocide. Uchiha Sasuke was stupid. Father, what you said is not quite right. Itachi just cast an illusion on me, allowing me to see the scene of him personally killing you and mother on the day when the Uchiha clan was exterminated. Uchiha Fugaku was silent. It seemed that he had misunderstood the look Itachi gave him. As the patriarch of the Uchiha clan, he was a wise man. He had misunderstood Itachi's look. Uchiha Fugaku began to doubt whether Itachi was his biological son. If he was, how could he have misunderstood? Uchiha Fugaku took a deep breath. He had already said a lot, and now he had no choice but to continue. What I said is true. As for why Itachi created those scenes to make you hate him, I don't know. Sasuke, remember. Your brother Uchiha Itachi, he is the person who loves you the most in this world. Don't hate him, don't have any grudges against him. Since he has been misunderstood and so much has been leaked, Uchiha Fugaku might as well reveal all the truth. At least he can avoid a drama of brothers fighting against each other. Hearing these words from Uchiha Fugaku, Sasuke was stunned. Itachi. Did he love him? Itachi participated in the genocide operation to let Sasuke live? After Tianyu left, Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama took Tsunade and continued to discuss endlessly. The two Hokages were a little dejected. In the huge Konoha, except Tianyu, they didn't find a candidate who could succeed a Hokage. Orochimaru. He has enough character and strength. But this person is too deep, and people can't guess what he is thinking. Although the human experiment incident has been overturned, Orochimaru is still the technician of the human experiment incident. In the hearts of the people of Konoha, there is still some resistance to Orochimaru, so Orochimaru is not acceptable. Not to mention that Orochimaru is unwilling to be the Hokage. Jiraiya. This person is strong enough, but too stupid. Exclude. Hatake Kakashi. Nara Shikoku of the Nara clan cannot take on the task. The head of the Hyuga clan, Hyuga Hayashi, has enough status, strength and endurance. This is the best candidate besides Tianyu. But Hyuga Hayashi was still excluded by the two Hokage. Because Hyuga Hayashi's endurance is really beyond measure. His younger brother was forced to death, and he endured for more than 10 years before he exploded. If he hadn't run into Tianyu, he might still be enduring the pain of losing his brother. If such a person becomes a Hokage, he may be bullied by other ninja villages, and he will endure again and again, and dare not take action until Konoha falls apart. Exclude. Tsunade mentioned a lot of people, and Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama also ruled out a lot of people. His granddaughter Tsunade is also a candidate, but Tsunade doesn't want to. Helpless, very helpless. Senju Tobirama sighed. Tenai won't be the Hokage. By the way, doesn't Tenai have a sister? Why not let his sister be the Hokage? Tsunade looked at her second grandfather in surprise, her face full of disbelief. You said. Tenai. Chapter 178 Every day. Under Tsunade's surprised eyes, Senju Tobirama nodded. Tenten is still a child. She is only 12 years old. Tsunade's incredible voice came, although Tenten's talent is not bad, she is not as good as Tianyu. What are you thinking about, second grandfather? Senju Tobirama sighed again. Konoha is so big that we really can't find anyone else who can be the Hokage. If Tianyu's sister becomes the Hokage, if she encounters any problems, Tianyu as a brother should help her deal with it. Tianyu doesn't want to be the Hokage, and you don't want to be the Hokage either. Let Tianyu's sister be the Hokage. This is the best way I can think of. Senju Tobirama explained helplessly. On the side, Senju Hashirama shook his head. You are trying to tie Tianyu through Tianyu's sister. No. Tianyu has paid enough for Konoha. Since he doesn't want to be the Hokage, we can't force him, a hero. Senju Hashirama made the final decision and rejected Senju Tobirama's idea. Senju Tobirama had a bitter face. Well, let's continue to choose the candidate for Hokage. He pulled Tsunade and counted the people in Konoha in detail, but to no avail. In the end, Hashirama Senju and Tobirama Senju both looked at Tsunade. Tsunade shuddered. A bad premonition came to her mind. Grandpa, second grandpa, why are you two looking at me like this? Hashirama Senju and Tobirama Senju smiled at each other, and they said with a smile, Tsunade, why don't you consider becoming Hokage? Tsunade shook her head desperately. No, I won't be this Hokage even if Jiraiya is beaten to death. The candidate for Hokage was not finally decided. While Tsunade was discussing with the first and second generations, the strong men who were reincarnated by the impure world reincarnation disappeared one by one. Of course, the first and second generations of Hokage had not yet dissipated. This was what Tianyu told Orochimaru. In addition to the first and second generations, there are two people who also remain in the state of impure world reincarnation. Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina. Tianyu wanted Naruto to spend a few days with his family. After doing these things, Orochimaru left. He and Tianyu made an appointment that Tianyu would make a 3 Magatama eye for him. He must study this thing carefully. After studying this thing, Orochimaru will leave Konoha and return to his Itagakure. Although Tianyu overturned the case for him and revealed the truth of the human experiment, Orochimaru still did not consider himself a Konoha ninja. He has been disappointed with Konoha for a long time. Although the truth has been revealed, for Orochimaru, he no longer has a sense of belonging to Konoha. The drama is over. The Konoha ninja without a leader is naturally led by the successive Hokage. As the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze shook his head. He and Kushina will accompany Naruto well, and let the first and second Hokage take charge. Hashirama Senju and Tobirama Senju, who were discussing the candidate for Hokage, ordered the Konoha ninjas to clean up the mess, count the damage caused by the Chunin exam, detain the people recruited by Shimura Danzo and the people who came from Tsunagakure, appease the ordinary people, etc. So, a large group of Konoha ninjas got busy, and as a member of the Chunin exam, Tenten also participated in the busyness. Well, in the busyness, Tenten was looked at by strange eyes from time to time. She is Tianyu's sister. I remember. Her family runs a ninja tool store. Tenyu is so powerful. Tianyu's sister must be strong. Such words rang in Tenten's ears while she was busy. At night, Tenten was freed from the busyness. Brother, why didn't you take me with you when you left during the day? After returning home, Tenten complained angrily. Being looked at by the Konoha people with strange eyes and the words of praise made Tenten blush and her heart beat fast. Those people thought that as Tianyu's biological sister, Tiantian was equally strong. Some said that Tiantian already had the strength of a Jonin. Some said that she had reached the strength of an elite Jonin, and some said that her strength was not weaker than that of the clan leaders in Konoha. Some even said that Tiantian's strength was comparable to that of the previous Hokage. Hearing these words, Tiantian wanted to find a hole to crawl into. Tianyu was lying lazily in the living room. Hearing Tiantian's voice, he turned his head and saw Tiantian, who was a little angry. Tianyu smiled dumbly. What's wrong, Tiantian? Tiantian pouted. You have done such a big thing quietly. Do you know how others see me? How do they see me? Tianyu continued. They said that they overestimated their strength? This is not easy to say. Tiantian was a little embarrassed. In the middle of the conversation, Tiantian suddenly said, Brother, I want to become stronger. Tianyu's strength has far exceeded Tiantian, Tiantian does not want to become a burden to her brother, she wants to catch up. Tiantian's little face is full of determination. As if he understood something, Tianyu stood up and walked towards Tiantian. He reached out and patted Tiantian on the head, and then pinched the two balls on Tiantian's head with his hands. Tianyu said softly, "Tiantian is already very strong, don't worry." With Tsunade's guidance, Tiantian's strength progressed very quickly. It was difficult for anyone among the Chunin to defeat Tiantian. But, others know that I am your sister, and they all think that I have at least the strength of a Jonin. Tiantian still pouted. Tianyu's eyes flashed with soft light. Hearing Tiantian's words, he knew that his excellent brother had unintentionally brought a lot of pressure to Tiantian. Sorry, Tianyu had just opened his mouth halfway, and there were two taps, and someone else walked into the room. The voice came before the person arrived. "Jonin. What's that?" "Tiantian, I tell you, you almost became a Hokage today." Dong dong dong, jade feet stepped on the wooden board, and Tsunade's figure appeared in the side of Tianyu and Tiantian. "Ah. Me. Hokage." Hearing Tsunade's words, Tenten was surprised. "Master Tsunade, are you mistaken?" "No mistake." Tsunade stepped in front of Tenten and answered word by word with full of seriousness. "My second grandfather, the second Hokage, proposed that you become the Hokage." Tenten waved her hands randomly, and she didn't know what to say for a while. Tsunade continued, "Because Tianyu didn't want to be the Hokage, they wanted you, Tianyu's sister, to be the Hokage, and let Tianyu help you deal with the affairs of the Hokage." Tenten's face was a little lonely, obviously, she was a little shocked. Chapter 179, Kind Tsunade. On the side, Tianyu frowned. "Tsunade, why are you saying these things?" "Tianyu, shut up." Tsunade shouted mercilessly. After that, Tsunade turned to look at Tiantian and asked very seriously, "Tiantian, you are not willing to accept it, right? You are not willing to be regarded as Tianyu's appendage, right? You are not willing to become Tianyu's weakness, right?" In Tiantian's lonely expression, Tsunade got straight to the point and exposed everything. Tiantian was a little flustered and didn't know how to deal with it. In the end, Tiantian nodded heavily, "Yes. I am not willing to accept it." "Then become stronger. Become so strong that they have nothing to say, and become stronger than Tianyu," Tsunade said majestically. "Yes, Master Tsunade." Tiantian clenched his fist, and his little face was full of seriousness. "Tsunade, in that case, you should be ready. Tomorrow we will start the second phase of training. The second phase of training will be much stricter than before. Even if you complain of being tired, I will not let you stop." Tenten replied, "Master, I will not complain of being tired." Tsunade smiled. "Then let me wait and see. Now, go to bed quickly. Tomorrow's training will be much more rigorous than before. Get enough rest to prepare for the second phase of training." "Yes, Master." After answering, Tenten went to the bathroom to wash up in high spirits. "Tsunade, thank you." Tianyu thanked sincerely, with an unprecedented serious expression. Even in the Chunin exam, the judge Saratobi Hirozen was not so sincere. "I didn't expect that I would bring so much pressure to Tenten. I really shouldn't have done that." Tianyu attached great importance to his family, especially Tenten. He would rather he be hurt than Tenten be sad. Tenten was in trouble because of him. Tianyu really didn't know how to solve Tenten's troubles. Tsunade's deafening words made Tenten refreshed and get out of the predicament. Tianyu thanked Tsunade sincerely. Tsunade smiled and said, "You are strong and you are also very proficient in gambling. I thought you knew everything. You are finally a normal person, kid." Tianyu also laughed. "Give Tiantian a moderate amount of training. Don't let Tiantian get too tired. If there is anything, I will protect her from the wind and rain. Tiantian just needs to be happy." Tsunade nodded. "I know, Tiantian is my disciple, I know my limits. By the way, I helped you so much, and you only thank me verbally." Tsunade suddenly changed the subject and stared at Tianyu with wolf-like eyes. Tianyu smiled and said, "Excuse me, what can I do for Tsunade-sama, one of the three ninjas? You go to be a Hokage." Suddenly, Tsunade said this, which made Tianyu stunned. "Can you change one thing?" Tsunade shook her head, "No. But I really don't want to be a Hokage. Wouldn't it be nice to have a love affair with Hinata?" Exclamation mark. Why waste time on the job of Hokage? It was because Tianyu had no intention of becoming the Hokage that he hurried back home. He just wanted to shirk the position of Hokage. Tsunade spread her hands and said, I did you a big favor, so you treat your benefactor like this. Tianyu smiled and said, you're right, I am such a person. Tianyu no longer had the attitude he had during the Chunin exam, and he started to act like a rogue. Hey, why are you so shameless? So what? If you don't become the Hokage, believe it or not, I will tell Tiantian that her brother is a rogue. Tianyu raised his hand and made a please gesture. Tsunade instantly lost her temper. You guys, she rolled her eyes at Tianyu, as if she had something else to say. Did the first and second Hokage ask you to become the Hokage? Tianyu suddenly asked. How do you know? Tsunade shuddered. If not, why would you ask me to become the Hokage? Yes, the first and second Hokage picked a circle of people and then focused their attention on Tsunade. Well, they have done so much for Konoha. If Tianyu doesn't want to be the Hokage, they can't force him. As for Tsunade, your grandfather, me, and your second grandfather Tobirama have all served as Hokage. It is only natural for you, the princess of Konoha, to take over the position of Hokage. Although Tsunade was unwilling, Hoshirama Senju and Tobirama Senju still set their sights on Tsunade. Tsunade can't escape unless Tianyu can change his mind and become Hokage. So Tsunade came back, and when she returned to Tianyu's house, she wanted to persuade Tianyu to be the Hokage. As soon as she came back, she heard Tianyu's words, and solved Tianyu's troubles. Tsunade was more confident to negotiate with Tianyu. But who knew that Tianyu was so shameless and still refused the position of Hokage? After being pointed out by Tianyu, Tsunade did not feel guilty. She said confidently, just say it. I did you a big favor, you owe me a favor. So you have to do me a favor and take the position of Hokage. Tianyu opened his mouth to speak, but Tsunade continued, if you still refuse, it means that the favor I did for you is not as important as the favor you did for me. That is to say, Tiantian is not that important in your heart. Just say it. Which is more important, Tiantian or the position of Hokage? Tsunade took advantage of the victory and pursued. Tianyu stretched out his hand and rubbed his head. The position of Hokage is more important or Tiantian is more important? Why is your statement so strange? Tianyu did not want to be Hokage, but Tsunade's words made it seem as if Tianyu was busy with the affairs of Hokage and ignored Tiantian. Sure enough, women are creatures that are difficult to describe. Tsunade, I always thought you were a kind woman. Tsunade? Question mark? She didn't know why Tianyu jumped to this topic. She looked at Tianyu with curiosity. Have you ever heard of these two idioms? Poor chest is extremely evil, and big breasts are big. Tianyu stared straight at Tsunade's majestic mountains. You actually used Tiantian to force me to be Hokage. The ancients lied to me. You are not a kind woman at all. Tsunade? Ancients? What ancients? The ancients said that poor chest is extremely evil and big breasts are big? No, that's not right. What are you looking at, little brat? Tsunade slapped Tianyu in shame and anger. Tianyu immediately took a step back and dodged. Ahem. In short, I will not be the Hokage. After saying that, Tianyu added, although Sarutobi Hiruzen is full of sins, it does not change the fact that he is the third Hokage. I am the one who overthrew the third Hokage. If I ascend to the position of Hokage, it will be easy for people with ulterior motives to spread rumors against me for rebellion. Hearing Tianyu's explanation, Tsunade was relieved. Indeed, the forces in the ninja world are mixed. If Tianyu ascends to the position of Hokage, he will be targeted as a new Hokage who rebelled against the old Hokage, a rebel, etc. But Tsunade, but I don't want to be Hokage either. Chapter 180 Tsunade, the fifth Hokage. I recommend you a candidate for Hokage. Tianyu said mysteriously. Tsunade was excited. Who? Jiraiya. Ah. Although Jiraiya is not very serious, when he is serious, it is still difficult for anyone to beat him. Jiraiya has enough character, strength, strategy, and courage. This is a very suitable person to be the Hokage. Yes, Tsunade stammered. My grandfather and I have mentioned Jiraiya, and they think Jiraiya is not good enough. Tianyu? Question mark? Tianyu suddenly said, did you say something bad about Jiraiya? Tsunade. The impression of Jiraiya by the first and second generations of Hokage originally remained in their childhood. After so many years, They naturally didn't know what kind of person Jiraiya had become. The cognition of Jiraiya was told by Tsunade. Tsunade and Jiraiya are both one of the three ninjas. The two have a good relationship. It is precisely because of this good relationship that there is no pressure at all to say bad things. Jiraiya's image in her heart is not so serious. In Tsunade's heart, Jiraiya is a lustful and stupid person. When Tianyu pointed this out, Tsunade did not respond, but remained silent. That is to say, she acquiesced. Tianyu sighed, then I can't help you. Just give up and become the 5th generation Hokage of Konoha. No, help me think of a solution. Tsunade shouted. Tianyu yawned and walked towards his room. Go to bed, good night. I'm exhausted after a day of hard work today. After saying that, Tianyu went straight back to his room. The Chunin exam incident just ended, and Tianyu didn't plan to go out these days. He has done a lot of things, and it's time to stay out of the limelight. Saving Konoha is not his responsibility alone. With the concerted efforts of all, it's time for the people in Konoha to play their own roles. After the candidate for Hokage is determined, okay, I won't pretend anymore, let's show my cards. Tsunade accidentally injured Jiraiya, who was qualified to be the Hokage. The candidate for the 5th Hokage is undoubtedly Tsunade. After Tsunade officially took office as the Hokage and became the central leader of Konoha, Tianyu planned to go out for activities. After all, he had done such a big thing, and it would inevitably attract the attention of the people of Konoha if he went out now. In other words, it would steal the limelight. Tianyu was not bored even if he didn't go out for a few days. For example, today, after he went home, Orochimaru came to his house soon. Tianyu gave the agreed 3 Magatama eyes, and Orochimaru certainly studied it and said that he would come to Tianyu to discuss it tomorrow. I guess Orochimaru will run back and forth to his house in the next few days. This took up a large part of Tianyu's time at home. In addition, after killing Danzo, Tianyu obtained new drawings. It would take a long time for Tianyu to create the one-hit kill Murasame. So Tianyu would not be bored at all staying at home. Let alone a few days, he would not resist even if he was asked to stay for a month. Time passed by quietly. Tiantian was working hard in training, very serious. Tiantian said that Konoha was also doing reconstruction work in an orderly manner. The explosive talisman battle between the 2nd Hokage Senju Tobirama and Konan blew up a place in Konoha. Reconstruction work means rebuilding that place. The place that was blown up by the 2 explosive talisman players. Tianyu knew it, after all, he had set a fire there a few days ago. Yes, it was unfortunate. The place that was blown up by the 2nd Hokage and Konan was the base of the Shimura clan. Grinding bones and scattering ashes, okay, the 2nd Hokage is professional. Tianyu just destroyed Danzo's corpse, and Senju Tobirama directly blew up other people's clan bases. In the past few days, Tsunade found Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama again. She regretted it when Tianyu recommended Jiraiya. But she still wanted to fight for it again, so she recommended Jiraiya to her grandfather and second grandfather. Unfortunately, they still didn't plan to change their idea of letting Tsunade be the 5th Hokage. Tsunade is unwilling to be Hokage. So in the eyes of Hashirama Senju and Tobirama Senju, she recommended Jiraiya to avoid the position of Hokage. Jiraiya's true temper. Well, they think it is what Tsunade said at the beginning. Tsunade is helpless, she wants to cry. Why did she say that Jiraiya is so useless? The candidate for the 5th generation Hokage has been completely determined. Tsunade will soon become the 5th generation Hokage of Konoha. After Tsunade's ability to be the 5th generation Hokage was finally determined, the news spread quickly in the village. Tsunade, as the granddaughter of the 1st generation Hokage, became the next 5th generation Hokage, which can also be called the will of the people. Therefore, Tsunade did not spend too much energy, and she got the support of most of the clans and villagers in the village, and sat firmly in the position of the 5th generation Hokage. Well, although the person in charge of the Hokage selection was very unwilling. After the successor of the 5th generation Hokage was determined, the major clans of Konoha began to build momentum for Tsunade, making Tsunade the only leader in the hearts of the people of Konoha. The contribution of the Senju clan was sung, and Tsunade's own achievements in World War II were also turned over again and spread in Konoha. Tsunade is not only powerful, but also the princess of the Senju clan. Tsunade, the granddaughter of the 1st and 2nd generations, has changed the ninja system and discovered the medical ninja system. In just a few days, Tsunade's reputation spread far and wide. Under deliberate operation, Tianyu's attention has decreased, and Tsunade has completely become the only leader in the hearts of the people of Konoha. The reconstruction of Konoha, the approval of the replacement of the Hokage candidate, the ceremony of the succession of the Hokage, and other things have all begun to be carried out in an orderly manner in the village. The order in Konoha is also gradually returning to normal. During the Chunin exam, the impact of the huge changes in the political power in the village on the people was gradually forgotten by people as time passed. In the last Chunin exam, although the 12 young generals who entered the third exam gave up because of Tianyu's plan, Tsunade still gave them identities based on their performance in the previous exams. Shikamaru, Niji, Lee, Tenten and others were promoted to elite Chunin, and the remaining Hinata, Ino, Sasuke, Inuzuka Kiba and others were all promoted to Chunin. Even Naruto, through his own efforts, reached Chunin, getting rid of his title of 10,000 years of Shin'an in the original work. In general, Konoha is now peaceful. I'm so tired. That night, Tsunade returned to Tianyu's house again and lay down directly in the living room. Even though she was confirmed to be the successor to Hokage, Tsunade still did not move out of Tianyu's house. Chapter 181 Hoshigaki Kisame's Dream. Tianyu looked at Tsunade, who was exhausted lying on the tatami. He smiled and joked, "Come on, the fifth Hokage of Konoha." Tsunade glared at Tianyu in dissatisfaction. "You are doing this on purpose, aren't you? You know I don't want to be a Hokage." Tianyu pretended to be innocent, and spread his hands. He said that he was powerless. Tsunade said fiercely, You guy?" In Tsunade's fierce eyes, Tianyu put away the expression that irritated Tsunade. "It doesn't matter whether you want to be a Hokage or not. You have already confirmed that you are the fifth Hokage of Konoha." Tianyu's words irritated Tsunade again. Tsunade, who looked tired like a salted fish, immediately turned over and glared at Tianyu. "You guy." Tsunade grinned. She was very angry with Tianyu. Tsunade was so angry that the majestic mountains rose and fell. Suddenly, Tsunade laughed. She collapsed back on the tatami again, showing what it means to be a salted fish that turns over but is still a salted fish. "That Akatsuki guy has been locked up for a few days. What do you want to do by keeping him alive?" Suddenly, Tsunade changed the subject and mentioned Hoshigaki Kisame. Well, being so provoked by Amaji, Tsunade is not without grudges. After all, the saying that a beautiful woman has big breasts was proven to be a wrong view a few days ago. Of course Tsunade will hold a grudge. She has already thought about how to take revenge on Amaji. Well, but now is not the time. Hey. Let me be the Hokage, and you don't have to worry about anything? You wish. Kisame Hoshigaki. Well, if possible, I want to recruit this person and let him work for Konoha. Recruit? Tsunade said, it seems unlikely. In the past few days, interrogators have gone to interrogate him for intelligence, but they haven't obtained any information from him. This person is quite tough. It doesn't look like he will be recruited. Tianyu rubbed his head and said, I'll go talk to him. Tsunade has been confirmed as the fifth-generation Hokage. Under deliberate operation, Tsunade has become the leader of Konoha that everyone expects. At this time, Tianyu's going out will not cause much impact. Hoshigaki Kisame Tianyu plans to go. The silver moonlight falls on Konoha, which is regaining its vitality, and the atmosphere is good. Unfortunately, such moonlight cannot be seen in the deep cells of Konoha. Corruption and rust stench surround the Konoha prison. As one of the former 7 ninja swordsmen of the Hidden Mist and a current member of the Akatsuki organization, Hoshigaki Kisame is naturally guarded by a heavy formation. Hoshigaki Kisame has had a very unhappy life these past few days. During the Konoha operation, he tried his best, but was beaten by Might Guy and his son, the first Hokage, Hoshirama Senju, and the newcomer from Konoha, Amaji, who has the Black Death God, and was finally betrayed by the Akatsuki organization. That guy, a Fei, would rather save Uchiha Itachi, who worked without effort and played a fake match, than save him, a good tool who did his duty conscientiously. Hoshigaki Kisame felt very disappointed, and he couldn't figure out why the Akatsuki organization abandoned him. His body was ravaged. His soul was betrayed. Hoshigaki Kisame was in a very low state. Amaji didn't kill him, but imprisoned him. Hoshigaki Kisame has also suffered from the interrogation of Konoha's interrogation ninjas these days. A group of Konoha interrogation ninjas who were not as strong as him interrogated him with a condescending look and tortured him with torture instruments. Hoshigaki Kisame's broken heart sank to the bottom again. He is no longer confident. When a tiger is in trouble and a dog is bullied, he, Kisame, fell into Konoha and was humiliated by the ninja who could only smash pots and pans in a fight. Hoshigaki Kisame fell into deep self-doubt. He had begun to feel inferior, but Hoshigaki Kisame still had a strong and confident dream in his heart. At night, the interrogators left, and Hoshigaki Kisame finally escaped from the torture. Kisame, who was covered in wounds, fell asleep quickly after the torture. In his dream, Kisame finally smiled. He dreamed of the past when he was still the 7 ninja swordsman of Kirigakure. For the development of Kirigakure, Kisame Hoshigaki followed the orders of the Mizukage and hunted down the defecting ninjas of Kirigakure. He had Samehoda, and as one of the 7 ninja swordsmen, he was a devil in the eyes of those defecting ninjas, and an invincible and powerful ninja. In the hazy fog and the intricate woods, Hoshigaki Kisame, the powerful 7 ninja swordsman, chased several mist ninjas who were prey like a hunter. These mist ninjas were full of fear on their faces. They knew how powerful Hoshigaki Kisame was and that they could not beat him at all, so they fled separately. Hoshigaki Kisame smiled and immediately summoned several water clones to chase these mist ninjas separately. In this dream, Hoshigaki Kisame regained his confidence. He enjoyed the confident feeling of powerful strength. The dream continued. Hoshigaki Kisame and his water clones were still chasing the mist ninjas. After a short period of pursuit, the mist ninjas had nowhere to escape. The powerful ninja Hoshigaki Kisame would not let these rebels go. If you chase us again, believe it or not, we will fight you to the death. The pursued Kirigakure rebel ninja threatened Kisame with a fearful voice, both sides will be hurt. The powerful ninja Hoshigaki Kisame responded confidently. Just you. You are too weak. Who gave you the courage to say this? You are so weak that you are not even worthy of me to use 50% of your strength. Hoshigaki Kisame moved. He hunted these rebel ninjas with the strength of Chunin and even Jonin. He only used 30% of his strength to play the opponent around. He enjoyed this powerful feeling. The Kirigakure rebel ninja was forced into a desperate situation under the relentless pressure of Hoshigaki Kisame. Open the gate, open. Rest gate, open. Life gate, open. Shang gate, open. Do gate, open. Jin gate, open. In the dream, a large amount of chakra burst out from the bodies of the mist ninjas who were forced into a desperate situation by him, covering the sky and the earth. And behind one of the rebel ninjas pursued by the water clone, dozens of wooden hands emerged. Those rebel ninjas showed smiles that frightened Hoshigaki Kisame. It's said that rabbits will bite when they are cornered. Hoshigaki Kisame, are you ready? In his dream, Hoshigaki Kisame, who has a 7 ninja sword, was terrified. Don't come over. The offense and defense switched, and he became the weaker side from the strong. Those mist ninjas who opened the 8 gates of Dungia sometimes treated him as a volleyball, sometimes as a basketball, and sometimes as a football. The dignified 7 ninja swordsman Hoshigaki Kisame was played badly. On the other side, the rebel ninja with dozens of wooden hands behind him also crushed his water clone into a sandbag. The water clone would break when attacked, but his water clone was beaten up by that person like a real entity. Slowly, the faces of these mist-hidden ninjas changed. They became Might Guy, Senju Hoshirama, and Amaji. Who? Hoshigaki Kisame woke up in shock. He gasped for air. Why did I have such a dream? Hoshigaki Kisame's heart was pounding. He hadn't recovered from the shock yet. Then, a voice sounded, you finally woke up. This voice was a little familiar. Hoshigaki Kisame turned his head woodenly, and Amaji was staring at him with a smile outside the cell. Boom, 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 boom. Hoshigaki Kisame's heart beat faster and more violently. Chapter 182 You should join Konoha rather than Akatsuki. Dream, it's a dream. I know. This is another nightmare. The fear on Hoshigaki Kisame's face has not subsided. He is afraid that Tianyu in front of him will open the 8 gates of Dungia, just like the last nightmare. Hearing Kisame's words, Tianyu's cheek twitched slightly. What's wrong with this guy? Seeing him, he actually said that he was having a nightmare? Is Tianyu that scary? Although he was a little indignant, Tianyu still maintained a gentle appearance and greeted him in a soft voice. Are you having a nightmare? Hoshigaki Kisame dragged his scarred body and shuddered fiercely. Sure enough, it's a dream. Hoshigaki Kisame repeated. Tianyu is an enemy of the Akatsuki organization, an enemy they want to kill. How could this guy smile at him? And whisper so softly? Exclamation mark. This is unrealistic. Hoshigaki Kisame hurriedly slapped himself with his hands, trying to wake himself up in this way. But the slap hit his face. Hey! Why does it hurt? Tianyu's mouth twitched again. He was sure that Hoshigaki Kisame was indeed sick. He was so strong that he couldn't even tell whether he was dreaming or not. If this wasn't a problem with his brain, then what was it? Taking a deep breath, Tianyu emphasized again that this is not a dream. Hoshigaki Kisame trembled all over. He just slapped his cheek, and the pain on his cheek also made him understand that this is the real world. Hoshigaki Kisame supported himself on the ground with his hands and moved his body to the depths of the prison. You Kisame, who had just had a nightmare, said the words in the dream. Don't come over. The expression on Tianyu's face froze. He began to doubt whether the idea of recruiting Hoshigaki Kisame was a mistake. Why is this person so weird? Kisame Hoshigaki, don't panic, be more at ease. I won't attack you. At this moment, Tianyu, in the eyes of Kisame after having a nightmare, is the spokesperson of the devil. Don't panic? Be more at ease? Will not attack him? Question mark? Why does Kisame Hoshigaki feel that these words are familiar? His brain is spinning rapidly. As an observer of the entire Chunin exam, Kisame suddenly thought of something wrong. This guy, the Black Death God, this guy. During the Chunin exam, he said this to Sarutobi Hirozen. Exclamation mark. Reassure Sarutobi Hirozen and show that he will not attack Sarutobi Hirozen. What is the final result? This guy, the Black Death God, did not kill Sarutobi Hirozen, but forced Sarutobi Hirozen to suffer more than death. In the end, he had no choice but to commit suicide to end his own life, and then escape the torture of the Black Death God. Thinking of this, the fear on Kisame Hoshigaki's face became even worse. Is life finally going to take action against this little shark of his? Seeing Kisame like this, Tianyu was even more confused. What's wrong? Exclamation mark. Originally thinking of recruiting Hoshigaki Kisame, Tianyu was going to have a good chat with Kisame in a friendly manner. When he came, Hoshigaki Kisame was sleeping. In order to show his friendly attitude, Tianyu did not call Kisame, but sat next to him and waited for Kisame to wake up before chatting slowly. But as soon as this guy woke up, he began to have a seizure. Tianyu was not in the mood to continue chatting with Kisame in a gentlemanly manner. Showdown. Hoshigaki Kisame, I'll be frank. The purpose of my coming to you is to recruit you and let you join Konoha and work for Konoha. Recruit me. Hoshigaki Kisame asked in disbelief. Are you sure you are not here to make him follow in the footsteps of Sarutobi Hirozen and let him die without a burial place? Tianyu no longer paid attention to Hoshigaki Kisame's weird appearance, and he nodded. When you were still a Kurigakure ninja, you had been diligently carrying out missions for the Kurigakure for many years. As a trusted subordinate of the former 7 ninja swordsman Zigwishin Puffer, you could kill Zigwishin Puffer without hesitation, who betrayed the village and collaborated with the enemy. We think you have a very good character. So we plan to recruit you and let you work for Konoha. As a time traveler, Tianyu is very clear about these things. What's more, it is not difficult to check the information of Kisame. Saying these things will not arouse the suspicion of Hoshigaki Kisame. If someone wants to check his information, these things can be checked very clearly. But Hoshigaki Kisame just doesn't believe Tianyu. He thinks this guy must have some bad intentions, just to make him follow in the footsteps of Sarutobi Hirozen. Alice, Tianyu sighed, you should know that if you attack Konoha and disobey Konoha's orders, you will die. To live or to die. You are smart, ahem. You should know how to choose. Tianyu wanted to say that smart people should know how to make choices, but seeing Kisame's strange behavior, he took back the word smart person. Hoshigaki Kisame remained silent, still staring at Tianyu. He felt that this kid must have some bad intentions. Tianyu didn't know what Kisame was thinking. He put his hand on his forehead and shook his head. It's really not that simple to recruit Hoshigaki Kisame. Then let's throw out some heavy stuff. I know the Akatsuki organization you are in now. You want to achieve world peace by collecting the power of the tailed beasts, right? Hoshigaki Kisame was stunned. Tianyu's words were too shocking, causing Kisame to throw away all his fear. This. How does this Black Death God know the plan of the Akatsuki organization? Collecting tailed beasts, using the power of tailed beasts to intimidate the ninja world to achieve the wish of world peace. Do you think this world is really that simple? Hoshigaki Kisame still stared at Tianyu without saying a word. It's not that he pretended to be aloof, but he didn't know what to say at all. Nightmare felt that Tianyu had bad intentions and wanted to make him live a life worse than death to know the plan of Akatsuki. Everything impacted Hoshigaki Kisame's brain, and he was silent. He couldn't deal with these things at all. Tianyu said to himself, "Don't speak, head. Do you still think that powerful strength can shock the world and make the world peaceful? If you think so," Tianyu paused, "then you should join Konoha." Hoshigaki Kisame? Question mark? He didn't know why Tianyu turned around. Tianyu continued. "Do you know where the tailed beasts of the 5 major ninja villages came from? The Warring States period ended. The ninja village era began. In order to maintain the balance between countries, Konoha's first Hokage, Hoshirama Senju, distributed the tailed beasts to each ninja village. The tailed beasts were all captured by the first Hokage." Tianyu stared at Hoshigaki Kisame and said word by word, "In other words, the first Hokage has more powerful power than the 9 tailed beasts. If you want world peace, joining Konoha is much better than joining the Akatsuki organization." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 183. A little bit. Hearing Tianyu's heresy, Hoshigaki Kisame was thinking blankly. This guy is right. The first Hokage, Hoshirama Senju, has a stronger power than the tailed beasts. Compared with Konoha, Akatsuki has no future at all. Hoshigaki Kisame thinks what Tianyu said makes sense. Although it makes sense, Kisame always feels something is wrong. That's not right. Hoshirama Senju is powerful, but he is dead. Finally, Kisame found the problem. Have you forgotten the iron fist of wood that hit the flesh a few days ago? Kisame. Even if the first Hokage is dead, Konoha can call him out. Doesn't this prove that Konoha is powerful? Well, Kisame was silent again. Tianyu's words made sense, and he really couldn't refute it. Kisame, listen to me. The waters of the ninja world are too deep, and the Akatsuki organization can't grasp them. Let Konoha do it. Konoha is powerful and has a rich foundation. It can wade into the muddy waters of the ninja world. Hoshigaki Kisame was confused by what Tianyu said. Tianyu didn't give him a chance to react and stretched out his hand to Kisame. Come on, join Konoha. Let's join hands and create a better future for the ninja world. For some reason, or subconsciously, Kisame stretched out his hand and held Tianyu's hand. At this, Tianyu smiled. Come on, Hoshigaki Kisame, I'm optimistic about you. The peace of the ninja world cannot be without your solid pillar. Confusedly, Hoshigaki Kisame joined Konoha. Tianyu also accidentally met the distracted Kisame and easily let him stretch out his hand to shake hands and form an alliance. When Hoshigaki Kisame realized the meaning of shaking hands, he wanted to say something. Oh, by the way, you should know the fate of betrayers, right? Konoha will not easily forgive those who say one thing in front of others and do another behind their backs. Don't forget, we have mastered the forbidden ninjutsu that can summon the dead. Anyone who betrays Konoha, even if that person dies in battle, don't think of escaping Konoha's punishment. We will summon him out and slowly settle accounts with him. Hearing Tianyu's words, Kisame swallowed his saliva with a gulp. I Tianyu, Do you have anything to say? No, nothing. He was summoned after he died, and he was going to settle accounts later? Hoshigaki Kisame said he had nothing to say. He shook hands with Tianyu in a daze, and Tianyu thought he surrendered to Konoha. Kisame certainly had something to say, but after hearing Tianyu's words, Kisame didn't dare to say it. This guy, the Black God of Death, came to him with no good intentions. Now you are also a member of Konoha? Well, you should take good care of your wounds here first. When you are well, there will be a mission for you. Okay. Kisame was a little unsteady in his speech. Then you should rest assured to take care of your wounds. I have something else to do, so I'll leave first. Hoshigaki Kisame said respectfully, okay, take care. Tianyu took 2 steps out, and suddenly stopped again. He looked back at Hoshigaki Kisame. I wish us a happy cooperation. I hope the ninja world will be peaceful in the future. Seeing Tianyu pause, Kisame paused in his heart, and followed Tianyu's words and said, happy, happy, peaceful, peaceful. He became a repeater who took things out of context. Tianyu finally left. Hoshigaki Kisame took a long breath in his heart, full of fear. This guy, the black god of death, is simply the devil himself. It's so insidious and scary. Hoshigaki Kisame leaned against the wall of the cell, looked up at the wall above his head, and his eyes were a little dull. Now you are also a member of Konoha. You should recover here first. Hoshigaki Kisame smiled bitterly. You said I am a member of Konoha. You want me, a member of Konoha, to recover in a cell? Well, Hoshigaki Kisame dare not say these words in front of Tianyu. Hoshigaki Kisame sighed, his face full of melancholy. He knew that he could not break free from the shackles of Konoha. Kisame was very sad, but after a while, the sadness on his face disappeared. Konoha's first-generation Hokage, Hoshirama Senju, who was stronger than the tailed beasts, could revive the dead with forbidden ninjutsu. From these aspects, Konoha is indeed the force with the most hope of achieving peace in the ninja world. Maybe joining Konoha is also a good choice. Kisame soon let it go. This is due to Kisame's straightforward personality. Of course, the most important thing is that when evacuating Konoha, Afei abandoned him without hesitation. What? You convinced him? At Tianyu's house, Tsunade looked at Tianyu in disbelief. Tianyu nodded. Yes, he is very sensible. He took the initiative to hold my hand. Tsunade looked at Tianyu up and down with a strange look. You guy, you didn't forge some ninja tools that can control other people's minds. How is it possible? Tianyu spread his hands helplessly. Where in the world can there be such a strange and convenient ninja tool? Hearing Tianyu's words, Tsunade's eyes widened in disbelief. She pointed at the ninja tools with various strange functions piled together in Tianyu's house. Strange. Are your ninja tools as strange as strange? Kune that can release the substitution technique. Wearing shoes that increase people's movement speed. Feathered clothes that can actively defend against attacks. Do you still think that these things you forged are not strange? Tsunade looked at Tianyu with a look of seeing a ghost. Tianyu stretched out his hand and scratched his head. Okay. These ninja tools are indeed a little bit strange, but only a little bit. At least the strangeness can be accepted by normal people. You call this a little bit? Tsunade shouted loudly. Yes, a lot of bits. Tsunade shook her head unhappily. She stopped arguing with Tianyu whether the ninja tools were strange or not. Okay, let's not talk about this. What should we do with the ninja of the 7 ninja swordsmen now? Let him move to the hospital to recuperate. Tianyu shook his head. No, just let him stay in the cell. Let most of the ninjas guarding him withdraw, and only 1 or 2 people will be left to guard him. Tsunade felt like she was going to have a myocardial infarction. You call this convinced? Tianyu nodded. Of course I convinced. But we should be on guard against others. We should be more careful in our actions. Tsunade rubbed her head. She felt her headache. Forget it. Let's not talk about this. Let's change the subject. By the way, someone is coming from the Sand Village. Chapter 184. You are really suitable to be Hokage. Why are you telling me this? Tianyu shrugged. These things, you, the Hokage, should handle them yourself. Tsunade said seriously, I want to hear your opinion. Chunin exam Orochimaru killed the 4th Kazekage and pretended to be the 4th Kazekage. What happened in Konoha was not a small matter. In the past few days, the news spread throughout the ninja world. The death of the 4th Kazekage caused a huge wave in the Sand Village. Moreover, Gaara, who has the one-tailed Jinchuriki, was detained in Konoha after the Chunin exam incident. The Sand Village had to send someone to come. Sand Village led the Jinchuriki to Konoha. Such an action is naturally unforgivable. But the one who made the decision was Orochimaru, who pretended to be the 4th Kazekage. I don't know whether to be harsh or lenient in this situation. Tsunade expressed her entanglement. Seeing that, Tsunade began to look at the problem from the perspective of the Hokage. Tianyu also put away his carefree look. He thought about this incident seriously. Although it was the fake 4th Kazekage who gave the order, Sand Village still sent out Jinchuriki to attack Konoha. From the fact that they sent out Jinchuriki, it can be seen that Sand Village really has evil intentions towards Konoha. Of course, We can't treat them leniently. After saying this, Tianyu said, but the one who gave the order was Orochimaru, the fake Kazakage, not the main planner of Sand Village. It's not good to be harsh on him. Konoha had a big event like the Chunin exam. Except for Sand Village, all the ninja villages in the ninja world must have had the idea of attacking Konoha. It's just that they didn't act as openly as Sand Village. With the death of the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen, Konoha must also carry out a major purge of the top leaders. Konoha is now in a state of disarray and at its weakest. Now is the best time to take action against Konoha. But they dare not act, because the reincarnated ones are resurrected. Konoha's first Hokage, Hoshirama Senju, the second Hokage, Tobirama Senju, and the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, who died young, are still in Konoha. The existence of successive Hokage has shocked all ninja villages. But will they easily give up the great opportunity to weaken Konoha and attack Konoha? Of course not. At this moment, countless eyes are staring at Konoha in the dark, waiting for the opportunity to come. Waiting for the successive Hokage to be silent. At this moment, Konoha is like a piece of extremely fat meat, and the various ninja villages and forces in the ninja world are wolves with green eyes hiding in the dark night. The Sand Village has lost the fourth Kazakage, and the Jinchuriki is still detained. Their situation is worse than Konoha. At this moment, the Sand Village is like a leaf swaying in a storm, so weak and so pitiful. They are helpless to go to Konoha guarded by successive Hokage. They must welcome back the tailed beast Jinchuriki of Sand Village and strengthen the protection of Sand Village. We need to be strict but also lenient. This is indeed a difficult problem. How about this? Tianyu gave this suggestion: detain the ninjas of the Sand Village delegation and scold them loudly. Show them their evil intentions in sending out the Jinchuriki, and use this to demand compensation that is no less than the Third Shinobi World War. Threaten them to go to war if they don't pay. Go to war. Tsunade was surprised. Are you going to trigger the Fourth Shinobi World War? Tianyu shook his head. Listen to me first. Doing this is just to show the majesty of Konoha to the outside world, and let the outside world know that we Konoha are full of confidence. Compensation is just a formality. After making enough gestures, send someone to secretly send the Jinchuriki back to Sand Village. Strictly criticize on the surface, but lenient in reality. Tsunade nodded repeatedly. This is really a good way to deal with it. After saying that, Tsunade sighed. As expected, you are much more suitable for the position of Hokage than me. Tsunade stared at Tianyu with sparkling eyes. Young man, do you want to reconsider it? No, no. Forget about Hokage. Tianyu quickly refused. The next day, Tsunade met with the members of the Sand Village delegation as the fifth-generation Hokage of Konoha. As soon as they met, Tsunade started to curse and dignifiedly listed the faults of Sand Village. She also asked for a huge compensation and told the members of the Sand Village delegation, if you don't pay, don't blame Konoha for launching a revenge war against Sand Village. The members of the Sand Village delegation were frightened by Tsunade's momentum. They were sweating coldly. Although they felt that Tsunade's request was too unreasonable, they dared not act rashly. After all, during the conversation, the two big guys, Hoshirama Senju and Tobirama Senju, were accompanying them. With such a lineup, even if the members of the Sand Village delegation had thousands of words to say, they dared not say anything. Faced with Tsunade's scolding, they could only become the successors of the Gongjiang spirit and bowed repeatedly to apologize. They also repeatedly said yes to Tsunade's unreasonable compensation request while bowing. At this point, the Sand Village delegation had to leave Konoha in disgrace and report Konoha's request to the Sand Village. As soon as the Sand Village delegation left the Hokage's office, Senju Hoshirama, who was accompanying the conversation, had a complicated face. Little Tsunade, why have you become so impatient? Wage a war. The world is in a peaceful state. Why do you want to wage a war against Sand Village? Senju Hoshirama was puzzled. How could his granddaughter become like this? On the side, the scheming Senju Tobirama laughed. Tsunade, you just performed very well. Senju Hoshirama, Tobirama, why are you also? Senju Tobirama mercilessly, big brother, shut up. Tsunade did this to show the majesty of Konoha. But, starting a war is not a good idea. Senju Tobirama pulled Senju Hoshirama over. Big brother, let me tell you. Starting a war is just Tsunade's verbal talk to defend the majesty of Konoha. In fact, Tsunade has no intention of starting a war. Senju Tobirama, who is very cunning, saw Tsunade's every move with his own eyes, and he saw the meaning of Tsunade's actions. Senju Tobirama told Senju Hashirama the reason. When Senju Hashirama understood Tsunade's intention, he suddenly realized it. Tsunade, you are really very suitable to be the Hokage. You are worthy of being the little princess of our Senju clan. Senju Tobirama exclaimed. On the side, Senju Hashirama also nodded with satisfaction. Senju Hashirama, who had come to his senses, smiled kindly and said, Tsunade, you did a good job. Chapter 185 Undercurrent. As their granddaughter, Tsunade didn't want to take on the heavy burden of being the Hokage. If possible, Hashirama and Tobirama didn't want to force their granddaughter to do something she didn't want to do. When Tsunade mentioned Jiraiya for the second time and recommended him to them as the candidate for Hokage, Hashirama and Tobirama refused directly, so that Tsunade gave up and obediently became the 5th-generation Hokage of Konoha. But afterwards, they still contacted Jiraiya secretly. They wanted to see if Jiraiya was as careful as Tsunade said the second time, with a casual way of doing things. After observing for a few days, they found that although Jiraiya was a little more lustful, he had his merits. Jiraiya was indeed qualified for the position of Hokage of Konoha. But now it seems that it is not necessary. Tsunade's handling of things is really in line with their wishes, and it is really excellent! Exclamation mark. Although Tsunade herself is not willing to be the Hokage, she still worked hard. Tsunade is already a qualified Hokage. Hashirama Senju and Tobirama Senju smiled at each other, from dust to dust, from ashes to ashes. Tobirama, it's time for us to go. Tobirama Senju nodded, yes, big brother. We can leave here without worry. Go. Tsunade grasped the key words. Grandpa, second grandpa, where are you going? Hashirama Senju smiled, and reached out to touch the top of Tsunade's head, which was already ripe. His face was full of kindness. Tobirama and I have passed away. The dead should stay in the kingdom of the dead. We should not appear in the world of the living. Grandpa, second grandpa. Hearing what Hashirama Senju said, Tsunade also knew where Hashirama Senju and Tobirama were going. Tsunade bit her lip, and her expression showed reluctance. You guys. Ha ha ha. Senju Tobirama laughed. You are about to become Hokage, and you still have this expression on your face. You are still the little Tsunade. Senju Hashirama, Tsunade, Konoha is handed over to you. Tobirama and I believe that you will become a better Hokage than us. The impure world reincarnation technique was lifted at their initiative. Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama left. However, Konoha's 4th Hokage, Namikaze Minato, still remained in this world. It was Tianyu who left him and Uzumaki Kushina. Only a few people in the ninja world knew about the departure of the 1st and 2nd Hokage. People outside were not aware of the information that the 1st and 2nd Hokage had disappeared from Konoha. Time passed, and a few days passed quietly. The Sand Village delegation returned to Sand Village and reported Tsunade's strong attitude and words to its elders. In this regard, the elders of the Sand Village did not dare to say a word. Because the people who went to Konoha to envoy, they saw Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama with their own eyes. Lost the Wind Shadow and the Tailed Beast Jinchuriki at present, Chiyo is the person in charge of Sand Village. And the old lady Chiyo is a figure from the early era. She knows the horror of Senju Hashirama very well. When she heard the envoys of the envoys, Tsunade's lion-like compensation request, Chiyo was silent. Give it to her. Master Chiyo, no. How can such a ridiculous request be agreed to? Chiyo just made a decision, and she was met with opposition from the elders of Sand Village. She shook her head, showing that she was full of disappointment. You are ignorant. The power of Senju Hashirama is far beyond your cognition. Alice. Another person in the Sand Village elders' side, our Wind Shadow disappeared, and the Jinchuriki is in their hands. We are really not qualified to negotiate with them, and can only agree to their request. You seem to have misunderstood something. Chiyo snorted unhappily. Let alone the 4th Kazekage, even if all the previous Kazekages were revived, facing Hashirama Senju, Sand Village would not be able to negotiate with Konoha on an equal footing. Sand Village compromised. Tsunade asked for too many supplies. Sand Village was already short of resources. Facing Tsunade's big request, they could only spend a lot of money to purchase from the entire ninja world. Food Ninja Tool Detonating Talisman. The fact that Sand Village purchased a large amount of resources could not be covered up at all. The entire ninja world knew about this move by Sand Village, And then more information was found out by various forces. The delegation of Sans village rushed to Konoha and met Hashirama Senju and Tabirama Senju. The major forces in the ninja world were shocked. After so many days, the two undead spirits of Hashirama Senju and Tabirama Senju were still in Konoha. Exclamation mark. Fortunately, they did not act rashly against Konoha. Exclamation mark. That Suchikage of Rock Country, Kumagakure of Lightning Country, and Mist Village of Water Country were all glad that they did not take action. After being glad, they were faced with fear. Hashirama Senju and Tabirama Senju. Would these two big Buddhas stay in Konoha forever? If these two big Buddhas always sit in Konoha, what are these ninja villages doing? Forget about Konoha alone. Knowing the information that Sans village was going to Konoha, the major forces in the ninja world quickly withdrew their spies in Konoha and restrained themselves. They were afraid that they would be caught by Konoha, and then the first and second generation Hokage of Konoha would come to settle accounts with them. Unknowingly, more than 10 days had passed. More than 10 days is enough to change a lot of things. After the Konoha collapse plan, the economy of Konoha has basically recovered. Those buildings damaged by the war have also been repaired by the villagers with concerted efforts, and everything has been restored to its original state. The streets gradually returned to their bustle and noise. On this day, from the early morning, the atmosphere in the village fell into an unprecedented warm atmosphere. Walking on the street, you can see everywhere that the villagers have bright smiles on their faces. Customers and owners of shops, women buying vegetables in fresh food stores, when acquaintances meet, you can hear words such as Princess Tsunade, granddaughter of the first Hokage, Tsunade-sama, legendary ninja, and so on from their mouths. Yes, the daimyo's approval document has been sent back a week ago. And today is the succession ceremony of the 5th generation Hokage of Konoha village. And on this day, Hinata also found Shianayu early in the morning. Brother Shianayu, this dress is given to you by me. Hinata handed a white dress packed in a very delicate bag to Shianayu. He took the clothes, opened the bag, and looked at the white robe with the word Shianayu embroidered in red thread on the corner. Shianayu smiled and said, "Thank you, Hinata." At this time, Tiantian appeared beside Hinata without knowing when. After this period of training, or after Tsunade's indirect guidance during this period, Tiantian has completely cheered up. At this time, Tiantian has turned back into the cheerful Tiantian before. She leaned against the door frame, stuck out most of her head, and said to Shianayu with a smile, "Brother, the two words Shianayu were sewn by sister-in-law Hinata herself. And she also told me that winter is coming soon, and she will knit a scarf for you by hand." Chapter 186. Do you still have this habit? Oh, Tenten. Hinata's pretty face suddenly turned red after Tenten told her the secret in front of Shianayu. Go make your breakfast. After breakfast, we still have to attend the succession ceremony today. Shianayu scolded with a smile, and found a random reason to send Tenten away from here, and then smiled and whispered to Hinata gently, "Then I'll leave it to you, Hinata." Okay. Hinata lowered her head and agreed in a weak voice. After breakfast, Shianayu, Tenten and Hinata were about to go out to attend the succession ceremony. At this time, an Anbu ninja wearing an animal mask suddenly appeared in front of Shianayu and others, and said to Shianayu very respectfully, "Tanayu-sama, the 5th Hokage wants to invite you." Shouldn't Tsunade be preparing for her own succession ceremony at this time? Why did she ask me to do it? I don't know, but Lord Hokage asks you to go. The Anbu ninja's forehead dripped with cold sweat. Well, Shianayu was a little uninterested. That? Hokage said that if you, Aim-sama, don't go over, she will not be the Hokage today. When he finished speaking these words, big beads of sweat had already fallen from the cheeks of this Anbu ninja. He was in great pain at this moment. Who would have thought that the new Hokage would be given such a task right after taking office? It was even more difficult than going out to carry out an assassination mission. Okay, I know. Aim-sama nodded helplessly and agreed. Tsunade is really willful. After he briefly explained a few words to Tenten and Hinata, he turned into a black shadow and quickly jumped towards the direction of the Hokage's office. You're looking for me. Aim-sama pushed open the door of the Hokage's office. As soon as he walked in, he saw Tsunade sitting in the Hokage's chair and losing her temper. As her assistant, Shizune, holding Tenten in her arms, saw Aim-sama appear and immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Lord Shianayu, it's great that you're here. Can you please persuade Lady Tsunade? She was so angry just now that she almost roasted all the pigs. Shizune looked at Tianyu with expectation and request as if she was looking at a savior. The little piglet in her hand was also in a panic after its hair stood up. With tears in her eyes, she looked at Tianyu with a pleading look. Squeak squeak Tsunade, what's wrong with you? Tianyu walked at Tsunade's side with some curiosity. He then found that Tsunade, who had big breasts, was so angry that her face turned pale and her chest was heaving up and down. Documents. Documents. All documents. I finally know why you don't want to be Hokage. You are simply dragging me here to do hard labor. Tsunade's forward veins popped up, and she complained to Tianyu angrily. Well, it doesn't seem like there are that many documents, so why are you so angry? Tianyu smiled with narrowed eyes. This is also one of the reasons why he doesn't want to be a Hokage. The Hokage has to deal with too many trivial matters in the village every day. Exclamation mark. People's energy is always limited. If he is entangled in these political affairs, he will not be able to pursue his limits in martial arts and strength wholeheartedly. Although Tianyu's current strength is considered to be the best in the entire ninja world, whether it is the Six Paths Pain in the original work, or Uchiha Obito who later launched the Fourth Ninja World War, the Six Paths Madara who was resurrected by the Impure World Reincarnation, and the final big boss Otsutsuki Kaguya, etc. Their strength is very strong, so Tianyu must not stop on the road to improving his own strength. Not much? Tsunade sneered, looked at Tianyu and said, do you think this is all? Isn't it? Tianyu was stunned. How, look behind you. Tsunade pointed with her finger. Tianyu turned around, and then froze in place for a moment, and was shocked. Scrolls, so many scrolls, a pile of scrolls that was more than 2 meters high. This number of scrolls must be at least 1,000 copies, right? Exclamation mark. Too scary. Reviewing official documents is not what Tianyu is good at. And even if he just reads them, he can't finish reading them in a month. At this moment, Tianyu fully understood what it means to learning has no end, and turning back is the shore. There was a bit more sympathy and pity in his eyes when he looked at Tsunade. The position of Hokage is indeed a very troublesome job. Well, Tsunade, come on. You are the 5th Hokage of Konoha. Tianyu patted Tsunade's shoulder and forced a smile. HMPH. Tsunade snorted to express her dissatisfaction. With a bit of coldness in her beautiful eyes, she glanced at Tianyu and said, do you really think I called you here just to complain to you and act out? What else? Only you dare to say that to me. Tsunade's beautiful eyes widened and she glared at Tianyu fiercely. However, there was no anger in her eyes, but rather a kind of coquettish scolding. I called you here to tell you that I will let you take up the position of Konoha senior elders. Humph, let me be the Hokage? Do you think you can get away so easily? What did you say? It's too windy here. I can't hear clearly. Haha, playing dumb? Tsunade strolled and said attentively, I used the crystal ball old man Sarutobi to collect the bathing photos of all the beauties in the village. Oh? So you have this hobby? Tianyu raised an eyebrow. Hobby? What hobby? I like men, okay. You bastard. Dare to pretend not to hear me again. Tsunade glared at him fiercely. Ahem. Tianyu didn't blush, but just spread his hands and said innocently, I don't even want to be the Hokage, let alone the Konoha elder who is so lazy. I really have no interest in it. Oh, I know, but I have no choice. At this point, Tsunade also sighed. The 2 elders, Mito and Yutankahuru, are always making trouble for me over there, and as the Hokage, I often can't show up directly. So now I need to add one of my own to the elders. When saying the 3 words my own, Tsunade deliberately looked at Tianyu meaningfully. But she found that Tianyu's expression was normal, and he didn't seem to notice anything special about these 3 words. Mito Katoen? Yuta Tenkaru? You haven't dealt with him yet? Tianyu asked in surprise. Chapter 187, Training Flying Thunder God. Hearing what Tianyu said, Tsunade was very upset. Do you really think it's so easy to be a Hokage? Before I took over these government affairs, I thought I could just ask them to go away if I didn't like them, but when I really sat on the position of Hokage, I realized that this matter is not that simple. The deaths of Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo have caused quite a stir in the ninja world. Even the Fire Country daimyo was quite shocked. If the 2 relatives Kaoru and Mito Katoen, who were on good terms with the Fire Country daimyo, were suddenly killed at this time, The daimyo would probably reduce the village's funding out of fear of Konoha, and some of the long-standing clans in the village might also be more afraid of me as the Hokage. The Chunin exam is such a big thing, it has a great impact on Konoha. Konoha is already very fragile now. If the old-time elders are purged at this moment, it will give other ninja villages a chance. Tsunade sighed quietly and rubbed her temples with her hands. This is a troublesome matter. Hearing Tsunade's words, Tianyu frowned slightly. In his opinion, the Konoha Elders Council built during the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen's time was also made of corruption. If such things are not removed, they will continue to erode Konoha's vitality like a thorn in the flesh. Tsunade doesn't need to do this. Tianyu's frowning expression was not concealed, nor was it hidden, and naturally it did not escape Tsunade's sight. Before the opening of the Chunin exam, Tsunade knew Tianyu's plan and stood by Tianyu. She was very familiar with him and knew what Tianyu was thinking. Tsunade smiled. Don't worry, their position will be abolished. I didn't take action against them now, just to let Konoha enter a stable state as soon as possible. Once Konoha is a little more stable, I will force them to withdraw. Tianyu nodded and said nothing more. Tsunade is the Hokage. Tsunade has her own plan, so act according to Tsunade's idea. Just as Tsunade believed in Tengu and chose to stand on Tengu's side before the show began, Tengu also chose to believe in Tsunade. Even if he thought Tsunade was overthinking, directly removing Konoha's thorns might make Konoha more stable. If Yuta Kaoru and Mitokado and were not removed, who knows what these two old guys would do in the future. But it's harmless. At that time, Tengu will help Tsunade deal with these two old bastards. Without Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo, even if these two old guys want to make trouble, they probably can't make any waves. Tengu, you don't need to do anything to join the elders, just help me calm down those two old guys. Tsunade's voice became much gentler and more serious, and even with a hint of request. It is very rare for Tsunade to have such an attitude. After the Chunin exam, those two old guys are very afraid of you, because if you are really angry, you might really kill them with a knife. Oh, Tianyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry for a while. In the end, Tianyu still couldn't refuse such a Tsunade. Okay, for your sake, I agree to this matter. The sadness on Tsunade's face suddenly disappeared, and her beautiful face was full of smiles. The whole person was also a little brighter, and she looked refreshed. More than an hour later, the succession ceremony of the fifth-generation Hokage officially began. On the rooftop of the Hokage building, a graceful figure appeared. She had long golden hair and a beautiful face that was completely inconsistent with her age. She wore a divine robe and held a Hokage hat in her hand. Even such a wide divine robe could not block her hot body. And next to her stood a boy who was about 1.8 meters tall, with fair skin, a long gown like snow, and a slender figure. The smooth and fair face, with sharp edges and cold handsomeness, and long black hair tied behind her, even if she just stood there, she had the power that could not be defeated by thousands of men. Tsunade announced her speech for the Hokage in a grand and majestic manner on the rooftop of the Hokage building. The Hokage's speech was almost the same, saying the same words. For example, she would work hard to become a competent Hokage and live up to the expectations of Konoha. In the middle of the speech, she also promoted some guidelines and policies for the future development of Konoha. Finally, she encouraged people's hearts and made the people of Konoha look forward to it. In the enthusiastic drinking of all the people, Tsunade's speech ended. The succession ceremony of the fifth-generation Hokage also ended. From this moment on, Tsunade became the fifth-generation Hokage of Konoha village in the true sense. At the succession ceremony, Tsunade also announced a very important news in front of all the villagers of Konoha. That is, she appointed Tianyu as a member of the Konoha elders. A Konoha elder who was only 13 years old. This news shocked many people, but for many people, this result was expected. The news that Tianyu and Tsunade had a close relationship was not a secret in the village. With Tianyu's strength and what he had done before, even if he was qualified for the position of Hokage, there would be many supporters in the village. And he is now one of the elders of Konoha, which seems to be well deserved. And now, Tianyu's popularity in the whole village has reached the level of a household name. Even a 3-year-old child playing on the street with a lollipop in his hand would call out sweetly when he saw Tianyu, "Look, it's Tianyu, brother." Tianyu walked on the streets of Konoha, and every time there would be a lot of eyes on Tianyu, some full of respect, some full of enthusiasm, some full of admiration, and some full of awe. The owners of these eyes are all ninjas who have seen Shionyu's strength and cold killing. During this period of time, Tianyu no longer retreated to his forging room. One-hit kill Murasame has been forged. During this period, Tianyu often went to Naruto's house to find Minato Namikaze, who had not left this world. He asked Minato Namikaze for some advice on the practice of Flying Thunder God. Flying Thunder God. 3 stages. That is, Flying Thunder God's Lightning Guide. A trick that can transfer the tailed beast ball to another space. Yes, Tianyu began to get in touch with time and space ninjutsu. Uchiha Obito's Kamui is too shameless. Even if Tianyu has special ninja tools such as Hai or Rinmaru and Murasame, it is a bit difficult to deal with Uchiha Obito. Practice Flying Thunder God. Get in touch with space ninjutsu. Tianyu wants to break Uchiha Obito's Kamui. During this period, in addition to practicing, Tianyu basically spent the rest of his time with Hinata. Chapter 188 Brother Tianyu, you misunderstood. Hey, Naruto, where are you going if you're not staying home to accompany your parents? When Tengo came to Naruto's house, he wanted to find Minato Namikaze again to discuss Flying Thunder God, and saw Naruto walking out excitedly. After this period of companionship, Naruto no longer had any barriers with his parents whom he had never met. Minato Namikaze, Kushina Uzumaki, and Naruto's family were all very happy. Naruto felt the warmth of his family. Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki were finally able to accompany their children. The 3 of them made up for each other's regrets. Ah, it's Brother Tengo. Naruto excitedly ran to Tengo and greeted him. Then he responded to Tengo's question. I'm going to the hospital to see Sasuke. It's been so long, and Sasuke's injury hasn't improved. It's been almost a month since the Chunin exam incident. After being hit by Tsukuyomi, Sasuke naturally needs to take good care of himself. What's more, after Uchiha Sasuke was hit by Tsukuyomi, he was awakened by his dear father's chakra stimulation. Under this stimulation, the injury of the second pillar was aggravated. Therefore, even after a month of recuperation, Sasuke still did not recover from his injury. Brother Tianyu, are you here to see me? Tianyu shook his head. I'm here to see your father. After chatting with Naruto for a few words, Tianyu waved to Naruto and told him to go to see his true love Sasuke quickly, and told him to be careful of Sakura and not let Sakura steal his home. While Naruto blushed and explained, Brother Tianyu, you misunderstood. Tianyu went to find Minato Namikaze without looking back. In Konoha village, beside a quiet stream, the sun was high in the sky, and the golden light fell down, shining on 2 figures standing on the water, one tall and one short. Seeing Hinata master the skills of climbing trees and treading water in just one morning, Tianyu couldn't help but sigh. Hinata, your Hyuga clan really has a unique advantage in controlling chakra. In the original work, Naruto took most of the time to master the skills, but Hinata learned it in less than half a day. Hearing Tianyu's words, Hinata, whose clothes were mostly wet, smiled shyly and asked, Brother Tianyu, am I successful? Tianyu nodded and gave his praise without hesitation. Ah. You completed the first stage perfectly. Great. Hinata's tender and fair face suddenly bloomed with a bright smile. Then, Hinata looked at Tianyu with a burning gaze and asked eagerly, Brother Tianyu, what is the second stage of training? Tianyu looked at the urgency on Hinata's face and asked with curiosity in his eyes, Hinata, why are you so hardworking recently? Have you encountered any trouble, so you are so eager to improve your strength? If you have any problems that you can't solve, just tell me and I will help you solve them. No, Brother Tianyu. Hinata waved her hands quickly and shook her head. She habitually pointed her 2 index fingers on her chest and opened her heart to Tianyu. I am afraid of becoming your weakness, Brother Tianyu. I know that Brother Tianyu is very capable and may encounter more powerful enemies in the future, just like those enemies wearing black and red auspicious cloud robes on the day of the Chunin exam. I think if my strength is strong enough, I will be qualified to fight side by side with Brother Tianyu and share your pressure, instead of being protected behind you forever and becoming a burden to you. Brother Tianyu, I'm sorry, I made you worry about me. So that's the case. Tianyu looked at Hinata with a little more tenderness. He reached out and rubbed her little head, then hugged her weak body in his arms and smiled. There's nothing to apologize for. You are my girlfriend. I already know your feelings. I will help you become stronger together. Later, I will give you a detailed training plan. Now, Don't be too anxious. You have just mastered the skills of treading water. We will start the second stage of training after you are completely familiar with it. Yet, Hinata nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. She didn't doubt Tianyu's words at all. Her original anxious mood slowly calmed down under Tianyu's comfort. Hinata's serious face made people feel cute. She carefully took a step forward on the water. Her bare jade feet stepped in the clear water, splashing circles of ripples that spread on the water. The cool feeling made Hinata addicted to this feeling. Although she was born in the Hyuga clan and was the eldest daughter of the Hyuga clan's main family, Hyuga Hayashi didn't teach her anything except the soft fist and acupressure techniques. Even in the ninja school, the techniques of climbing trees and treading water were not within the scope of students' learning. The first time Hinata experienced walking on water, she immediately liked this feeling. After playing for a while, Hinata's little face was flushed and she was panting slightly. Take a rest, Tianyu said with a gentle smile. Yet, Hinata nodded obediently, and then asked, Tianyu, are you hungry? Ah. Now that you mention it, I actually feel a little hungry. Tianyu rubbed his stomach and said belatedly, then asked Hinata, do you want to eat together? Hinata's eyes were filled with a bit of timid joy, and her lips like cherry blossom petals raised a very beautiful arc in the air. She asked tentatively in a low voice, Brother Tianyu, I prepared a lunchbox for you, do you want to try it? Really? A hint of surprise flashed in Tianyu's eyes, then I am really honored. Tianyu took the lunchbox prepared by Hinata for him, and after opening it, he saw a very exquisite lunchbox. The upper layer was covered with tamagoyaki, and the lower layer contained eels, flounder, squid, shrimps and other seafood, and at the bottom were large slices of chicken and rice balls with chicken sauce. Tianyu tasted it carefully. Hinata looked at Tianyu nervously, fiddling with a corner of her clothes with her fingers, and asked carefully, How is it, Tianyu brother? This is the first time I make a bento for others. Will it not suit your taste, Tianyu brother? No. Tianyu shook his head and smiled brightly. When I took the first bite of this bento, I think I was destined to be obsessed with your cooking skills. Hinata exclaimed in surprise. Her white eyes widened instantly, and the whole person had an indescribable sense of cuteness. If Tianyu brother likes it, that's great. Let's eat together, Tianyu said to Hinata. Okay. Hinata nodded obediently. So, the two of them ate the bento together under the sunny woods and beside the clear stream with gurgling water. While eating, Tianyu chatted with her. For example, Tiantian used medical ninjutsu to save a fish this morning, and then used a kitchen knife to cut it open and stewed it into a pot of fish soup. For example, Uzumaki Naruto has been practicing with a man called the Good, Sexy Sage recently, and Naruto restrained the Good, Sexy Sage's ultimate skill, which is the seduction technique. This made Hinata, a gentle and lovely girl, blush and laugh. The atmosphere between the two was very warm. Horizontal ellipsis. Chapter 189 Kushina's Craftsmanship. After a week, Tianyu's Flying Thunder God technique had made some progress. His comprehension was already very strong, and after discussing many details about the Flying Thunder God technique with the fourth Hokage Minato Namikaze, Tianyu's speed in practicing this ninjutsu was amazing and terrifying. Swoosh! When the kunai was shot out of Tianyu's hand, the next second, Tianyu's figure flashed and appeared at the place where the kunai flew out. Exclamation mark. On the training ground, Minato Namikaze's face was filled with unstoppable surprise. This. How long has it been? And Tianyu's Flying Thunder God technique has been practiced to this level. When I was learning Flying Thunder God technique and researching and improving Flying Thunder God technique, it took me several years, but I didn't expect Tianyu to be able to master it to this level in such a short time. In addition, during the discussion with Tianyu, Minato Namikaze felt that the questions he asked were quite profound, and even many details about the Flying Thunder God technique were things he had never noticed before. Minato Namikaze secretly felt a little regretful in his heart. If he had more time to discuss and study the Flying Thunder God ninjutsu with Tianyu, he could even continue to improve the current Flying Thunder God ninjutsu and make the Flying Thunder God ninjutsu completely resound throughout the world. Minato Namikaze had to admit that this genius boy named Tianyu, his talent was far superior to his own back then. It is true that every generation has talented people. Terrible little monster. Minato Namikaze said with a feeling of not knowing whether to laugh or cry. Of course, my elder brother Tianyu is the most powerful. Naruto also praised Tianyu's talent generously at this moment. At this moment, the golden hair of Minato Namikaze and Naruto shone in the sun, like two little suns. No way. Tianyu shrugged helplessly. He couldn't be complacent because of these achievements in front of him. Although his skills are already good now, there are only a handful of people in the world who can threaten him, but this level is not his limit now. There are still many powerful masters in the later plot. Let alone Uchiha Madara, Six Paths Pine, and Kaguya Otsutsuki. Which one of these people is easy to deal with? My goal is to stand at the top of the entire ninja world. Let's end today's training. It's time to go back for lunch. Kushina has prepared a lot of delicious food. If we don't go back in time, she will be angry. Namikaze Minato recalled his wife's nickname of Blood Red Pepper and felt a little scared. Brother Tianyu, come and have dinner with us. After hearing what Naruto said, he couldn't help but cheered, and then looked at Tianyu shyly and said embarrassedly. These days, Naruto and Namikaze Minato and Kushina have a completely harmonious relations, and there is no estrangement. Naruto enjoys the unreserved love of his parents and feels particularly satisfied. He can't help but want to share this feeling with Tianyu. Okay, please let me taste Kushina's cooking. Tianyu wanted to decline, because Tsunade, Tenten and Hinata should be waiting for him to go back for dinner. But looking at Minato Namikaze's expression, Tianyu also understood that it was time to say goodbye, and let Minato Namikaze and Kushina personally say goodbye to Naruto. This was undoubtedly a kind of hurt for them. Naruto finally had parents, and he didn't want to deprive them of this relationship. But if the impure world reincarnation continues, Minato Namikaze is powerful, and Kushina's power is no less than that of a cage-level strong man. This is not an ordinary burden. It's good to be able to support it until now. The three of them walked back. It is worth mentioning that because of Sarutobi Hiruzen, the people in the village treated Naruto as a demon fox. Now the truth is out, although some people still can't correct their mentality, but at least they have changed their attitude. Tsunade even returned Minato Namikaze's residence, which had long been occupied by Danzo and others, to Naruto. Now they are going to Minato Namikaze's former residence. It is also where Naruto lives now and will live in the future. The decoration here is still the style of more than 10 years ago, and it has been renovated in the past few days. As if to make up for it, Minato Namikaze and Kushina took a lot of photos with Naruto, and the family portrait representing the three of them was hung in the middle of the living room. Inside, Naruto smiled very happily. Come and eat. Kushina really prepared a lot of delicious food. After eating, Kushina accompanied Naruto to talk. Minato Namikaze looked at the backs of Naruto and Kushina and said to Tianyu, thank you. This time, if it weren't for you, we might never know that the child we regarded as a treasure and loved by us actually suffered such unfair treatment from the village. Minato Namikaze was grateful to Tianyu from the bottom of his heart. After he became Hokage, he implemented a series of policies to appease the village, but unfortunately it blocked Danzo's way. And Sarutobi Hiruzen said that it was Danzo who leaked the news. But there may not be no instruction from Sarutobi Hiruzen. Now, what Konoha owed them and Naruto should be paid back step by step. What I wanted was to remove all the cancer that was rotten to the root. Now that Konoha is back on track, I believe that Konoha will become better in the future. Tianyu and Namikaze Minato stood aside. His strength and strategy made Namikaze Minato not regard Tianyu as a 13-year-old child at all. Instead, he was a wise man. A wise man who could control the overall situation. It's great that Konoha has you. I once fought with a mysterious masked man in the Akatsuki organization. I planted the mark of the Flying Thunder God on his back. This mark will not disappear unless he has the body of a sage. If you face that mysterious man in the future, you can try to use this to deal with him. Namikaze Minato smiled and told what he did when he fought against a mysterious man. Yet, Tianyu also nodded. Uchiha Obito did not take back the Sharingan that he left with Hatake Kakashi, so his Kamui's hollow time was only 5 minutes. At the moment of transformation, the speed of Flying Thunder God, combined with his attack of Hyorin was enough to make Uchiha Obito lose his fighting power. How do you want to deal with the Uchiha orphans in the village, Tianyu? Namikaze Minato did not forget the child named Sasuke that he had seen in the previous battle. In the past few days, Naruto stayed with him, And the name Sasuke was mentioned the most, besides Tianyu. And Sasuke is also the child of Uchiha Mikado, a close friend of Kushina. Namikaze Minato already knew about the Uchiha clan. It can only be said that it was the sin of Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo. It is also related to the decaying Konoha. Since the death of the second-generation Hokage, Konoha has begun to put the cart before the horse. A village that was supposed to protect everyone has become an excuse for some people to suppress others. A sentence for the village. How many people died, and how many dead bones were buried in the soil of the village? It is no wonder that Tianyu can't stand the current Konoha and wants to destroy it. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 192 People's Entrustment. Uchiha Sasuke. Tianyu heard Namikaze Minato mention Sasuke, and his mind was full of thoughts. Tianyu recalled Sasuke and decided to let Sasuke follow the plot on the original book. The charges against Orochimaru have been completely cleared. The relationship between Orochimaru and Konoha is very delicate now. Although he is no longer a ninja of Konoha, Orochimaru will not refuse to send Sasuke there. It is a good opportunity to study the Sharingan and strive for stronger power. Naturally, Sasuke will be cultivated well. And Orochimaru does not have to regard Sasuke as a container of the body. Yes, that child. Namikaze Minato chuckled and continued, speaking of which, I have seen that child when he was young. He was soft and small. Now he has grown up so big. I really miss the time when I worked with Fugaku. Namikaze Minato narrowed his eyes and smiled. This smile makes people feel like spring breeze, worthy of being a gentle little sun. If Minato Namikaze had not died and could continue to serve as the fourth Hokage, perhaps with his friendship with Uchiha Fugaku, the Uchiha clan would not have ended up like this. Tianyu sighed in his heart. As for Sasuke, he is still in the hospital. After he recovers from his injuries and is discharged from the hospital, I have already made a plan to let him go to the Sound Village for a while. He has accepted such a cruel truth for a while, and I am afraid he will not be able to accept it for a while. It is also good for him to stay away from Konoha for a while. And Orochimaru is also one of the three ninjas. Give him a chance to become a disciple. I believe Sasuke can also seize this opportunity. Tianyu looked at Minato Namikaze and said, I am always at ease with your arrangements. I will ask you for your help in the future. Minato Namikaze smiled gently, then turned to look at Tianyu. Minato Namikaze, who had withdrawn the transformation technique, had now returned to the appearance of the impure world reincarnation. His body was slowly collapsing. Obviously, he could not hold on for much longer. Timiya, now I know that Naruto can live well with you. Kushina and I are relieved. Konoha will definitely get better and better. We are very satisfied to be able to see our child grow up and accompany him for such a long time. Minato. Tianyu didn't know what to say. The time limit for the impure world reincarnation has come. I guess it is really a rare thing for them to say goodbye. Timiya, Naruto will be in your care in the future. Also, thank you for giving Naruto justice and thank you for taking care of our child. Kushina had already sent Naruto away. She also walked in front of Tianyu. Kushina also restored her impure world reincarnation body. The debris in the air was flying, and their bodies were gradually dispersing. Okay. Tianyu took a deep breath and nodded. Facing such a farewell, Tianyu's heart was also affected. This is for Naruto and for Konoha. Because in Konoha, Naruto should have enjoyed the happiness of family life, with both parents, like a spoiled child, playing and laughing freely in the village. Instead of being a Jinchuriki like he is now. Brother Aim, look at this. Mom said that my father has a gift for me. I didn't expect it to be this kunai. Although it looks a bit strange, it is really useful. Naruto ran from the courtyard with a smile, and then handed the special kunai to Aim to see like a treasure. The kunai in Naruto's hand was exactly the special kunai that Minato Namikaze used to use. Obviously, this was a parting gift. And Naruto didn't know anything about it yet. Well, it's very good, Naruto, keep it well, it's getting late, I'll go back first. Aim said and nodded to Kushina who had returned to normal Minato Namikaze. Well, goodbye, brother Aim. Naruto smiled and waved. Minato Namikaze and Kushina also sent Aim to the door. After leaving Naruto's house, Tianyu walked towards home. Nowadays, Tianyu always gets people's respectful and admiring eyes when walking on the street. Especially some young people, they regard Tianyu as their idol. That is everyone's admiration. The older ones have complicated expressions. They all came from the era of Sarutobi Hiruzen. The current situation of Konoha is completely different from that of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Everything will change. Come on, Xiaoli, this is youth. Okay, teacher, I understand. Well, then you must work hard to complete it. If you can't walk around Konoha Street 50 times before 8 o'clock tonight, do 3,000 push-ups. Might Guy said excitedly. Yes, teacher. Xiaoli's voice became more and more intense and louder, as if he had received some encouragement. On the street, Tianyu looked at Might Guy and Xiaoli who were walking upside down on the streets of Konoha in front of him, and was stunned for a moment. Then he laughed. These two people are doing the so-called training competition again. I have to say that the relationship between Might Guy and Xiaoli, the master and apprentice, is really very good. As they were talking, the two came to Tianyu. Hey, isn't this Tianyu? Might Guy looked at Tianyu and smiled all of a sudden. He showed 8 teeth and smiled very brightly. Tianyu. Xiaoli did the same, with the same smile and the same thick eyebrows. Tianyu was dazed for a moment, and then he looked directly at them. Are you practicing? Yes, the teacher said that today's training is to walk around Konoha 50 times. We have completed 40 laps and it will be over soon. Xiaoli said very motivatedly. There was no sense of fatigue at all, and when talking to Tianyu, Xiaoli was walking upside down. Youth is about swaying your sweat. This is passion. Tianyu, do you want to come with us? Might Guy also looked at Tianyu very excitedly. Tianyu is only 13 years old now, but he is already so powerful. If he can practice well, he will definitely be more powerful. No need, I have something to deal with when I get back, so I won't delay your practice. Tianyu heard this and smiled and shook his head to refuse. Okay, then we'll go. Oh, in the past few days, there are suddenly a lot of people who want to learn physical skills from me. I'll leave those people to Tsunade-sama to deal with. Goodbye Tianyu, Xiaoli, let's go, youth is still waiting for us. Might Guy shouted, and the speed of walking upside down became faster. Chapter 191 Everyone's Change. Tianyu looked at their backs. It seems that the battle that day also made many people in Konoha see the power of the physical technique of the 8 gates. Might Guy stopped the 7 ninja swordsmen alone for the sake of the village, and even severely injured them in the end. Such a feat is enough to completely change people's thoughts about Might Guy. Physical skills are not inferior to ninjutsu. If you practice to the extreme, such power is not inferior to ninjutsu at all. On the street, the eyes of the people around looking at Might Guy and Rock Lee have also changed from the previous misunderstanding to the current respect. I believe that Might Guy and Rock Lee can definitely feel this change. It's just that for those who learn physical skills, Might Guy's practice is the most suitable for physical training. Once you can keep up and are willing to work hard, the power of the 8 gates can be initially exerted. But with such a strong training intensity, I'm afraid not many people can stick to it. So in terms of selection, you must be cautious. Tianyu doesn't want to teach some people who are not good at all. That's the most uncomfortable. Bid farewell to Might Guy and Rock Lee. Tianyu also returned home. Tiantian started to get busy early. After finishing the training, he did not forget to prepare dinner for Tianyu. After a period of study, Tiantian's stew was also well made, and the taste was also very good. But other dishes need to be further studied. Brother, you are back. Tiantian turned around and looked at Tianyu and said with a smile. Well, I'm back. How was the training today? Tianyu smiled and rubbed Tiantian's head. Tiantian is still a cute little girl with 2 buns. She is also very cute. You can vaguely see her style when she grows up. Very good, it really deserves to be brother's training method. I believe that as long as I work harder, I will be more powerful. Tiantian said with a smile. Brother, can you help me practice a little more in 2 days? Tiantian said, and then stepped forward and pulled Tianyu's sleeve and said coquettishly. Okay, what's the big deal? I will help you again after the level is over. Tianyu smiled and looked at Tiantian, with the corners of his mouth raised. You two, brother and sister, are talking about something good, laughing so happily. The door creaked. Tsunade followed suit and walked in. As Tsunade lowered her head, the two big balls in front of her swayed. It was really scary to watch. Nothing, just some ways of practicing. Don't mention it, Tsunade, you got off work very early today. The Hokage has to deal with a lot of official business every day, and the village is now in a state of ruin. There will only be more, not less, a series of work. Although there are Shizune and Nara Shikaku to help. But there are still a lot of official business, and they come back very late every day. It's rare that Tsunade came back just after it got dark today. Now, the moon is bright and the stars are sparse outside. In the bright moon, the moonlight is scattered on the ground. The long-lost tranquility shows that tomorrow should be a good day. Let's put those things aside for now. It's just about how to deal with the vacant land of the Shimura clan after the clan was exterminated, and the results of the treatment of the Konoha high-level officials involved with Sarutobi Hiruzen. These are nothing. Tsunade smiled and looked at Tianyu. But for some reason, Tianyu could hear some gnashing of teeth from Tsunade's words. Illusion. This must be an illusion. Well, these things can indeed be put on hold for now. The family territory of the Shimura clan, that place must be used. Over the years, Danzo has used the privileges of the Elders' Council to gain a lot of benefits for the Shimura clan, making their small family of more than a dozen people a big family with status in Konoha. What they should spit out, they should hand it over. That place is a good area in Konoha, so naturally we have to think carefully about what to build. Tianyu also smiled. Speaking of Danzo and Sarutobi Hiruzen, these two are the cancer of Konoha. Facing the things left by the two, especially those high-level officials, they must be thoroughly liquidated. Otherwise, the remnants will be a disaster. Anyway, the final result is to throw those people into prison. In short, these are all trivial matters. It's just that I should cultivate my own strength. Konoha's talents, under the attack of Sarutobi Hiruzen, are basically limited to a handful of strong people. The younger generation must be well cultivated. At this critical moment, Hatake Kakashi actually said that he wanted to practice Hatake swordsmanship in retreat. You say, this doesn't help me share the burden. Tsunade said while looking at Tianyu's expression. These are the questions raised by Nara Shikaku today. Tsunade came to Tianyu this time to share government affairs with Tianyu. When encountering government affairs problems, Tsunade still wants to discuss with him. So after seeing Tianyu, she asked Tianyu's opinion. Tianyu's opinion is very important to Tsunade. You said, Kakashi went to practice Hatake swordsmanship. Tianyu listened to Tsunade for a long time before he reacted to Kakashi's learning of swordsmanship. Yes, he went to learn swordsmanship. Perhaps he was influenced by the White Fang of Konoha that day. The reason why Hatake Kakashi gave up the Hatake swordsmanship was that he felt guilty that Uchiha Obito died to save him and gave him the Sharingan. He lived like someone else. But this time, after seeing White Fang, he decided to live for the Hatake clan. Tsunade explained casually. Tsunade didn't know much about what happened to Kakashi that year. It was only after listening to the people behind him that she knew a little. Maybe. Tianyu thought about Hatake Sumo's powerful swordsmanship. If Hatake Kakashi could pick up the practice again, his strength in the future might not be weaker than Hatake Sumo. Oh, what you said is too profound. Let's have dinner quickly. Let's talk about it after dinner. Tiantian listened to the conversation between Tsunade and Tianyu, and felt a little overwhelmed. Before, she was still thinking that her brother's status in Konoha had improved significantly. Although she didn't become Hokage, it was because her brother didn't care about it, not a big deal. She even thought that if she worked hard in the future, maybe she could look forward to that position. But now, after experiencing Tsunade's daily workload, she felt that she couldn't do it at all. Just those workloads were enough to make her surrender. Chapter 192 Dealing with Matters. Yes, don't think about it for now. Talk to me after dinner. Tianyu smiled and looked at Tiantian, then at Tsunade. Yes, come and try my cooking. This is a delicious stew that I prepared for an hour. Tiantian said, and brought up a large pot of stew. Although the stew looked a little soft, it tasted really good. At least Tsunade and Tianyu thought it was delicious. After feasting on it, Tiantian went to pack up. Tianyu and Tsunade came to the yard. At this moment, it was already dark, and the moonlight outside cast a layer of light silver light in the courtyard, which seemed so quiet and peaceful. In the courtyard, the sound of bamboo colliding and water flowing rang out, and and the surroundings were quiet and peaceful. Looking up at the starry sky, the galaxy is bright and the sea of stars is brilliant. Every time he looked up at the starry sky, Tianyu felt very peaceful in his heart. Tianyu and Tsunade sat in the corridor with hot tea in their hands. The night breeze was blowing gently, bringing a bit of coolness. Okay, now, what do you want to say? Speak slowly, I'm listening. Tianyu looked at Tsunade and said with a smile. How could Tianyu not see Tsunade's thoughts? If possible, Tianyu could also help Tsunade a little. After all, it was he who promoted the reform of Konoha. Although he refused the position of Hokage, he had to take on the responsibility of the elder. You also know that the changes in the Konoha senior management have left a lot of positions vacant. Some idle positions are vacant, and we can find better ones in the future, but some important positions cannot be filled. Fortunately, although the Nara clan was promoted by Sarutobi Hiruzen, he became the chief of staff through his own efforts and did not participate in those dirty things. Otherwise, I really have to discount the influence of the Nara clan. So although the decision-making level can still cope with it for the time being, some other responsibilities cannot be handled, such as medical care, communications, and the Anbu, as well as the deficit of the root. These are all headaches. Tsunade looked at Amu, took a sip of hot tea, and then told him all these problems. These are indeed problems. In terms of medical care, there are still not enough medical ninjas. We need to vigorously cultivate them. As for communications, it is better to try to let the Yamanaka clan take charge. Previously, this department was firmly controlled by Sarutobi Hiruzen. The Yamanaka clan, you mean Yamanaka Inoichi. He is indeed a member of the communications team, but that department belongs to Sarutobi Hiruzen. I am afraid that he, whether it is external communications or anything else, he still has to arrange his own talents. Tsunade hesitated. After all, if they still use the original people, it may give people a feeling of changing the soup but not the medicine. It is said that Konoha should be changed again, and it will no longer be that decadent village. But the people used are still old people. The Yamanaka clan is not big, nor is it small. They have been wavering in the middle, but this is enough. They are still loyal to Konoha. Since they are loyal to Konoha, they should also declare their loyalty to the current 5th Hokage. Moreover, the 3rd Hokage has done those evil things. At this moment, anyone with a cool head should know to draw a clear line. The Yamanaka clan has been criticized by the outside world. I am afraid that their family has a lot of troubles now. I am afraid that they are waiting for the reckoning day and night. But now you are not reckoning with them, but instead extending an olive branch. I believe that anyone with a little bit of brains knows what to do. The so-called way of balance is to give a slap and a sweet date. At this point, Tianyu smiled and turned to look at Tsunade. I believe that you, who have been taught by the 2nd Hokage since childhood, probably know what to do without me explaining in detail. After Tianyu named the pros and cons of the Yamanaka clan, Tsunade suddenly understood. You're right. I didn't think of that. Tianyu, you're really amazing. What the great-grandfather and the 2nd grandfather said is right. Some people are gifted, and others can't catch up even in their lifetime. At that time, I was a little unconvinced, but now, I am convinced. Tsunade also smiled. Tianyu's words and the experience he showed always make people subconsciously ignore his age and treat him as a peer. But when you really realize it, you will find that he is just a teenager, such a young child. No, this is just a way of balance. You have been too busy these days. If you think about it, you will think of it. Tianyu said modestly. You are really good at talking. Tsunade knew that Tianyu was just being modest. But such words still made her very happy. No, I'm telling the truth. Oh, by the way, the people from the Anbu can only come slowly. The forces hidden in the dark do need them, but they must not become like the route before, otherwise Konoha will still go down the old path. The people from the Anbu are too important. The team directly under the Hokage needs absolute loyalty and strength. Tianyu looked at Tsunade and said. Well, I know, there is no rush for the Anbu for the time being. I'm already selecting talents. Tsunade nodded. Many people from the Anbu died in the previous incident of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Now it will take some time to recruit people again. However, the status of the Hyuga clan can be improved. After all, it is the largest clan in Konoha now. Whether it is strength or prestige, it is not low in Konoha. If Konoha establishes a high-level organization, the Hyuga clan must be given a seat. At the same time, The Hyuga clan can also be responsible for the guarding of Konoha. Their Byakugan are fully capable of doing these jobs. In the past, Sarutobi Hiruzen wanted to suppress the Hyuga clan, so the Hyuga clan was oppressed. All kinds of dangerous tasks were completed by them. And now, everything has been redressed, so we who have been wronged should also compensate a little. After all, the former Konoha has forced the Uchiha clan to only have a few people left. We can't let the Hyuga clan go down that path. Tianyu said after thinking for a moment. Well, it's okay. I am still very relieved about the Hyuga clan. Tsunade listened to Tianyu's words and nodded. There was no objection to his arrangement. Well, that's it. As for other families, you can handle it, Tsunade. You can give them a proper beating and let them know who has the final say in Konoha now. Chapter 193 The Hyuga clan's request. Tianyu smiled and looked at Tsunade. Okay. Tsunade nodded. A conversation with Tianyu solved a lot of problems. In the remaining time, Tsunade and Tianyu looked at the stars in the sky together. The surroundings were so quiet and peaceful. The next day, in the Hokage's office, under Tsunade's strong request, Tianyu also appeared here this time. Hyuga Hayashi of the Hyuga clan also stood in front of everyone with several people in power in the Hyuga clan. Hinata and Hyuga Niji came with him. Hinata is of course Tianyu's girlfriend. Hyuga Tianyu's wife, and Hyuga Niji came because of the branch family. Hyuga Hayashi's death made Hyuga Hayashi feel very guilty about Niji. The head of the branch family has always been the head of the family, but this time Hyuga Hayashi has decided to hand over the branch family to Hyuga Niji when he comes of age. Timidaya. Hinata looked at Timidaya and couldn't help blushing. After calling Timidaya's name in a low voice, she remembered that this was the Hokage's office, so she shrank back. Hyuga Hayashi looked at Hinata and couldn't help but smile. Then he quickly returned to his seriousness. Tsunade looked at them and said with a smile, "Okay, everyone relax a little. It's not like we are reporting to the daimyo. There is no need to be so cautious. I called you here this time because I actually have something good to tell you. Whatever the matter is, Hokage, just tell us. No matter what the task is, we can execute it perfectly." Hyuga Hayashi nodded. Yes, the Hyuga clan will not let Hokage down. The other members of the Hyuga clan also followed suit. Without Sarutobi Hiruzen and without suppression, I believe the future of the Hyuga clan will definitely be better. It's a good thing. I want to let you handle the defense of Konoha's village. Tsunade said with a smile. That's no problem. The Hyuga clan can complete this task perfectly, but are we a guard? Hyuga Hayashi looked at Tsunade and Amaji and asked. Everyone knows that the biggest reason why the second-generation Hokage made the Uchiha clan a guard is that this would allow the Uchiha clan to fend more clans and completely isolate them. Once a race is isolated, it is very easy to eradicate that clan. Because that clan has no reinforcements and can only rely on itself. Even if the truth was not exposed later, everyone would think that the demise of the Uchiha clan is a good thing. Of course not, the Konoha Guard should be jointly built by people from all clans. In the future, Konoha will not target any clan. We are all from the same village, so of course we can't do the same thing as before. Tsunade heard this and shook her head and refused. Okay. Hyuga Hayashi nodded. It is a great trust to let the Hyuga clan take charge of the village's defense. They, the Hyuga clan, will naturally do a good job and not let down this trust. Hokage-sama, I came here this time to say something. After Hinata Hayashi finished speaking, he hesitated for a moment, but decided to speak out. Oh, just tell me what's the matter. We are all from the same village. If you have any difficulties, I will try my best to help. Tsunade said with a smile. As she spoke, she turned around and glanced at Tianyu. Tianyu just shrugged his shoulders without comment. If there was anything wrong with the Hyuga clan, he would naturally not stand idly by. I think the future branch of the Hyuga clan will be handed over to Niji. I want to report to Hokage-sama that I am sorry to Hisashi, my dear brother. Niji is his only child. The purpose of the caged bird ninjutsu is to prevent other ninjas from obtaining the bloodline limit of the Hyuga clan. But this ninjutsu also traps them in a cage. They can't get freedom and can only become victims of the main family. I don't want to be like this anymore. I also hope that Hokage-sama can research a technique to remove the caged bird. Hyuga Hayashi, thank you very much. After saying this, Hyuga Hayashi lowered his head and knelt on the ground. Niji also knelt down with everyone else, and the rest of the Hyuga clan did the same. They all knelt down right after him. This. Tsunade turned around and glanced at Amaji. To be honest, Tsunade didn't expect that Hyuga Hayashi would actually make this request. The caged bird is meant to bind the branch family. This technique was designed to bind them. The Hyuga clan has no way to remove it, but if they want to remove it now, they can indeed study it with manpower. But this will undoubtedly take time. Konoha doesn't have that much time to remove it now. So the target of Hyuga Hayashi's words is not Tsunade, but Amaji. In the entire Konoha, only Amaji has this ability now. Amaji, please help Niji. Hinata looked at Amaji and couldn't help but speak. Hyuga Hayashi suffered such a disaster because Hinata was kidnapped. Not only Hyuga Hayashi felt guilty, but even Hinata also blamed herself after knowing this. Now if there is a chance to make up for it, Hinata is of course willing to do it. Okay, I promise you. Amaji nodded. In the original work, Niji's wish was to change the caged bird, but until the war broke out and Niji died to protect Naruto, he was unable to remove the caged bird. The current Konoha is no longer the Konoha of the past. Since the Hyuga clan is willing to free the caged bird, Cheyenne I will naturally agree. And help. Thank you. Hyuga Hayashi nodded and stood up with Niji. Then Hokage-sama, Cheyenne I, we will take our leave. After saying this, Hyuga Hayashi turned around and left the Hokage's office with the Hyuga clan. The Hyuga clan is responsible for the defense of the village. The Hyuga clan's manpower will be changed. These are all things that need to be discussed carefully when we go back. At present, the Hyuga clan may be busy. Cheyenne, then I will leave first, and I will also practice well. Hinata followed Hyuga Hayashi and left, but when she left, she did not forget to look back at Cheyenne. Okay. Cheyenne also smiled. As the Hyuga clan left, Shizune also delivered today's official business. A large number of scrolls and documents were delivered. Even Tun couldn't help but crawl into Jingang's arms after seeing those documents, rolled his head, and then chose a comfortable place to sleep quietly. Looking at Tun, Cheyenne sighed. These days, people are really not as good as pigs. Chapter 194, Ningxi's Thanks. Cheyenne, come and help me review some of these documents. Tsunade grabbed Cheyenne who was about to run away, and waved the scroll with a smile. These, that, forget it, you know, I don't like these documents very much, these things are enough to make me drowsy, I might as well go back to forging. Cheyenne refused with a smile. Compared with sitting down and looking at these documents, Cheyenne would rather go back to forging. That way, he can also exercise his chakra. Tsunade-sama, there are these. Nara Shikoku also walked in, and he also had a lot of documents in his hands. These are all to be reviewed today. Seeing Tsunade and Cheyenne-Yu's actions, Nara Shikoku did not show any surprise. His intuition told him that the matter in front of him was not important. The most important thing was who would review today's documents. That's all. Want to run away again? Forget it, it's up to you. Tsunade couldn't help complaining when she heard Cheyenne-Yu's words, but she quickly adjusted herself. After all, she is now the Hokage. Although he wanted to take a break from time to time, Konoha was more important. I'll go back and see Tenden's training. These few days are the time to get results, so we can't be careless. Cheyenne said with a smile. Go. Tsunade waved her hand when she heard this. As soon as she walked out of the Hokage building, Cheyenne saw Niji. Seeing Cheyenne coming, Ningxi also walked in front of Cheyenne. Tenyu. Ningxi saluted Cheyenne. Cheyenne is now an elder of Konoha. According to his rank, Ningxi should salute. Ningxi, why didn't you go back with me? Cheyenne asked with a smile. Tenyu, I will be loyal to Konoha and Hinata, and I will work hard to practice and contribute to Konoha. I will definitely not let you down. After hesitating for a while, Ningxi said these words to Cheyenne. Such words, according to Niji's usual personality, are simply impossible to say. But now Nisi can no longer care about so much. If you have made up your mind, then practice well. I will also try my best to help you solve the caged bird problem. When the caged bird is freed, your Byakugan will no longer have blind spots. Cheyenne patted Ningxi's shoulder and said, Yes, I will. Everyone says that Konoha today gives us hope. In the future, everyone will also be loyal to Konoha and Hinata and will not let you down. Ningxi nodded. I'm leaving. After saying this, Ningxi bowed respectfully to Tianyu and turned to leave. Looking at Ningxi's back, Tianyu couldn't help but feel a little emotional. It seems that in order to win people's hearts, what is needed is not a caged bird, but sincere treatment. Shaking his head, Tianyu went to the training ground. At this moment in the Konoha hospital, Father Sasuke woke up from his dream and stretched out his hand, wanting to grab something. But there was only air in front of him, and there was no figure of his father at all. In his dream, he dreamed of his father, his mother, and the time before the Uchiha clan was exterminated. At that time, he lived a very happy life every day. Although his father was serious, he still loved him very much. But after waking up, Sasuke found that all this was just a passing cloud. It was just his dream. Is he gone? Sasuke looked at his hands and tears flowed out. He had finally seen his father before and learned the truth about the demise of his family. But in less than a moment, his father left him again. He really wanted to see his father again and ask him about the family affairs, and whether Uchiha Itachi, his brother, really took on so much just for him to survive? Sasuke, what's wrong with you? Sakura pushed open the ward and saw Sasuke sitting on the bed, looking distraught. So she hurried to Sasuke's side and asked about his well-being. Of course, Sasuke ignored Sakura, got out of bed, and was about to leave. Sasuke, your injury hasn't healed yet. Sakura wanted to stop Sasuke, but seeing the cold look in Sasuke's eyes, she was stunned for a moment. She let Sasuke walk out. On the training ground, Tiantian was practicing hard, and Tianyu was still constantly instructing Tiantian. Finally, a stage of practice was completed, and Tiantian was already sweating profusely. Hoo-hoo, brother, I'm so tired. Tiantian panted. Practice, how can it be easy, and you did very well today. Tianyu encouraged with a smile. Well, I think so too. Although it's very tiring, it's very rewarding. I believe that after a while, they won't be able to beat me. Tiantian is very confident. After all, her brother is so excellent, so her sister will not be bad either. Okay, I believe it too. Let's take a break and we'll start again later. Tianyu smiled and handed Tiantian a bottle of water. Okay. Tiantian took it with a smile and drank a big sip of water. In just a moment, Tiantian started practicing again. In this way, time quickly came to the afternoon. Brother, let's go back. Tiantian packed up his training stuff and left with Tianyu. However, before they had gone far, Tianyu noticed a sharp blade light on the training ground. This blade light was extremely fast and powerful. It just seemed that because it had not been used for a long time, there was a sense of stagnation in the movement. And this blade light was exactly the Hatake sword technique that Hatake Sumo had performed before. Thinking back to what Tsunade said, Kakashi had recently been practicing Hatake sword technique again. Tianyu planned to go and see Kakashi's results. Tension, you go back first, I'm going to meet an acquaintance. Okay, then brother must come back early, sister-in-law Hinata will also come tonight. Tiantian nodded. Don't worry. Tianyu nodded. Tiantian left alone. Tianyu walked to Kakashi's side. What Tianyu saw was Kakashi waving the short sword in his hand. In just a moment, all the training stakes around Kakashi were cut off. Judging from the cross-section, the power of this knife was obviously not weak. Not bad, he has some of Hatake Tsukumo's style. Tianyu clapped his hands. Ah, it's Tianyu. Kakashi was stunned when he saw Tianyu coming, and put away the short sword. He saluted Tianyu. You're welcome. Tianyu waved his hand. Kakashi, isn't your title the copy ninja? Why do you pick up the Hatake sword technique again now? Tianyu crossed his arms and looked from Kakashi to his sword. That short sword was the one Kakashi used when he was a child. But since the Battle of Canopy Bridge, that sword was kept at home by Kakashi. It is no longer used. Chapter 195 Kakashi's Decision, Sasuke's Request. But now it seems that the knife is still so sharp and has never been covered in dust. Hearing what Tengo said, Kakashi smiled and picked up the short knife. His eyes became more determined. You woke me up, Tengo. In the past, because of my father's suicide, I have always locked myself in the rules. No matter what I do, I will not violate the rules or break them. But later, Abrito told me that my father is a hero and those who save their companions are heroes. At that time, I briefly understood my father. But later, Obito died and gave me the Sharingan. I felt that I should use this pair of eyes to see the world on behalf of Obito, so from then on, I never used the Hatake swordsmanship again. At this point, Kakashi smiled self-deprecatingly, with some sadness in his eyes, but it was soon replaced by determination. I know the truth about my father's death, and I understand what I should do. Whether it's my father or Obito, they just want me to live well, so I decided to be myself and carry forward the Hatake swordsmanship. I will become the world's greatest swordsman, let my name resound through heaven, and let my father hear it too. Kakashi looked at Tianyu and said this firmly. When Tianyu heard this, he was still sighing that Kakashi had really changed, and perhaps he would be able to become a great helper to Konoha in the future. His face suddenly became a little complicated. Because, why is this line so familiar? Tianyu's face was weird, and after a while, he remembered who said this. Tianyu stared at Kakashi, and after a long while, he said, Kakashi, you can't become a swordsman. Ah. Why? Kakashi was also stunned when he heard Tianyu's words. He thought Tianyu was saying that he couldn't inherit his father's swordsmanship at all. I will work hard. My father once said that I have a talent for swordsmanship, and because you use a knife, not a sword. Tianyu said this before Kakashi got anxious. Kakashi. Okay, I believe you can do it. Tianyu looked at Kakashi and smiled. Well, but I still want to thank you, Tianyu. If it weren't for you, I might not realize that the path I chose was wrong. Obito didn't want me to live like him. Also, I am very grateful that you can let me see my father again. Kakashi smiled. Well, train well, Konoha will need you in the future. Tianyu smiled and turned to leave. But as soon as he turned around, he saw Sasuke with red eyes. Sasuke was wearing a hospital gown, his eyes were red, and Sasuke's face was full of sweat. Obviously he ran a long way. He was panting slightly. Tianyu, I want to see my father, please, let me see my father. Sasuke didn't speak until Tianyu and Kakashi finished talking. Oh. Tianyu narrowed his eyes slightly. He didn't expect Sasuke to run away from the Konoha hospital, and the first time he saw him, he actually wanted to see his father. However, just take this opportunity to pass him to Orochimaru. The ninjutsu that summons your father is the impure world reincarnation. Orochimaru can use this ninjutsu, and when summoning the dead, a living person is needed as a sacrifice, and that living person is the body that carries your father's soul. In addition, the impure world reincarnation brings a burden to the caster. Do you think Orochimaru will use this ninjutsu for you? Tianyu smiled and looked at Sasuke, as if to say that Sasuke was overestimating his own abilities. Hearing Tianyu's words, Sasuke gritted his teeth. Then please let me see Orochimaru. No matter what it takes, I want to see my father again. I really. Sasuke said here, he clenched his fists, tears streaming down his face. Getting and losing is more painful than never feeling it. If Naruto has never felt the love of his parents since he was born, then Sasuke got it and lost it. When he was 7 years old, Sasuke's world turned black and white. From the son of the patriarch of a big family, to an orphan, the hardship is beyond words. Moreover, Sasuke really wants to see his parents again. Lord Amerji, I beg you. Sasuke finally burst into tears. Amerji, Sasuke. Kakashi looked at Sasuke and felt sorry for him. Kakashi felt the pain of losing his parents. Don't say it, if you insist on doing so, I will give you a chance and send you to the Sound Village to see Orochimaru, but whether you can convince him to keep you depends on you, and Sasuke, you need some time to calm down after knowing the truth. Go back to the hospital, and say goodbye to Naruto in the next few days. When your injury is healed, I will send someone to take you to the Sound Village. Amerji originally wanted to send Sasuke to Orochimaru. Don't change the original work. But now, it is better because Sasuke himself proposed it. Thank you, Tianyu. Sasuke stood up, his body was dazed for a moment. His injury had not healed yet, and he had been running around in many places in the village to find Tianyu. He almost couldn't hold on, but fortunately he was supported by Kakashi. I'll take you back. Kakashi looked at Sasuke inside. Go, remember to find a medical ninja to take a good look at him. Tianyu said casually. After solving the two people's problems, Tianyu went back. Back home, Tiantian and Hinata were busy in the kitchen together. It was so lively. Sister-in-law Hinata, you cut a fish meat, and pass that to me. Tiantian looked at the recipe and operated. Okay, here you go. Hinata also cooperated with Tiantian on the side. This scene really makes people feel extra warm. Brother, you're back. Tiantian turned around and saw Tianyu coming back, and said with a smile. Yes, you're back. Hinata is here too. Tianyu said with a smile. Yes, my father asked me to thank you for helping us. Also, this time, it is your credit that the Hyuga clan can get this responsibility. Hinata said shyly. Although she has been Tenayu's girlfriend for a long time, Hinata's shy habit has not changed. It's nothing. The Hyuga clan has made so many efforts for Konoha. This is what you deserve. Tenayu smiled. Okay, don't thank me. We are a family in the future. Let's not talk about this. Sister-in-law, let's go and make dinner. Tenayu saw Hinata and Tenayu thanking each other here, and smiled and pulled Hinata back to the kitchen. Yes. Hinata nodded. Brother, wait for dinner with peace of mind, don't discuss business. Chapter 196, Letter from the Sand Village. Tenten's words successfully made the dinner table tonight extra peaceful. The dinner tasted good, after all, it was cooked by Hinata and Tenten. After dinner, they briefly chatted about Tenten and Hinata's future training methods. Everyone rested. At the same time, the Sand Village had already prepared compensation for Konoha. The next morning, a letter was sent to Tsunade. Tenayu, take a look. Tsunade called Tenayu to the office early in the morning, and also handed the letter from the Sand Village to Tenayu to read. The letter first greeted Tsunade, and after the common social etiquette, it was a formal reply that they had prepared the resources and would send them to Konoha, but at the same time, they also hoped that Konoha could send Gar back at the same time. Tenayu smiled at the contents written on it. The Sand Village seems to be quite obedient. Yes, they are indeed obedient, but they think that Grandpa and Second Grandpa are still alive, so they dare not attack Konoha. If Konoha suffers heavy casualties now, I am afraid that the Sand Village will not only not pay compensation, but will also ask for compensation from us. Tsunade sneered while hugging her arms. This action squeezed the two balls on her chest and deformed them a little. An amazing arc was revealed. Tsunade has experienced so much and has long known the true face of Sarutobi Hirozen. For him, Tsunade now only has disgust in her heart. As for the master-disciple relationship, when Tsunade knew that the Senju clan was exterminated because of Sarutobi Hirozen and Danzo, her master-disciple relationship with Sarutobi Hirozen had completely disappeared. Don't think about it. At least now we have the power of crushing, and they can't even think of attacking Konoha. Tianyu smiled indifferently. There is no way to avoid such things. Moreover, Konoha should indeed be on guard. After all, no matter how you look at it, the boss-level figures who can threaten the ninja world all come from Konoha. Uchiha Madara, or Uchimaru, including Uchiha Obito, who will launch the fourth ninja world war in the future. Even the beginning of this ninja world was an internal fight between Indra and Ashura. How should I put it? Other ninja villages can't compare with Konoha at all. Then let's do it. They are also sincere, so let's send that Gar back. But now, Might Guy still has training tasks to do. He threw those little ninjas to me, so don't blame me for choosing a lot of people to bother him. Don't you want youth? Then let's have enough youth. When Tsunade said this, the gritted teeth made Tianyu light candles for Might Guy. Ahem. As if she knew she had lost her composure, Tsunade coughed and continued. Kakashi is practicing swordsmanship. Jiraiya is training Naruto recently, saying that he would teach Naruto the best, and then he ran away without a trace. Orochimaru can't be relied on, and the others are available. But the escort is the one tail after all. It's a tailed beast. If something goes wrong on the way, it would be inappropriate, so now the only one who has time and strength to escort is you. Tsunade looked at Tianyu and said with a smile. It looked like Tianyu was completely trapped. This. Tianyu was stunned for a moment, and finally shook his head helplessly. Okay, then I'll go. By the way, I'll take Hoshigaki Kisame with me. That guy, it's time to be released from prison, otherwise, he will really be suffocated. Tianyu recalled the look of Hoshigaki Kisame looking at him that day, and he found it funny. It seemed that he really regarded him as a devil. Okay, anyway, you are in charge, you have the final say. Tsunade also said with a smile. Since the decision has been made, Tianyu did not delay and went to the prison immediately. At this time, Hoshigaki Kisame had long lost his previous hostility. Although he told everything about the Akatsuki organization, The job that Hoshigaki Kisame originally did was just a thug job with no technical content. Therefore, the information he could get about the Akatsuki organization was pitifully little. And Hoshigaki Kisame, who no longer had to suffer physical pain, could only shrink in the prison. However, his treatment was much better than before, at least he could have a full meal. At this time, the door of the prison was opened. A ray of light shone on Hoshigaki Kisame's face. Hoshigaki Kisame opened his eyes, but when he saw that the person who came in was Tianyu, Hoshigaki Kisame immediately took a step back. Quietly huddled in the corner. He would never move forward, and he was still afraid of the power of the 8 gates. When he was treated like a volleyball, he felt that his life was hopeless. Even now, thinking back to the situation at the time, he felt a little collapsed. Tianyu looked at Hoshigaki Kisame's actions. His face was full of black lines. What's going on? Is he so scary? Ahem, Hoshigaki Kisame, since you have already surrendered to Konoha, I will take you on a mission now. If you do well, you can leave here and live in the house when you come back, but if you mess up, you should know what I mean. Tianyu smiled brightly. I am happy too. Hoshigaki Kisame wanted to cry but had no tears at this moment. If his heart could be materialized, there would definitely be a little man with noodles hanging in front of him. Because at this moment, he really wanted to cry but had no tears, and was very broken. Very good. Hoshigaki Kisame's answer made Tianyu very satisfied. Then, he took Hoshigaki Kisame out of the prison. Tell Marino Ibuki that I will take the person away. The information about the Akatsuki organization should be sorted out as soon as possible and handed over to the Hokage. Before leaving with Hoshigaki Kisame, Tianyu did not forget to remind these people to work. Yes. Seal Department. This is where the Seal Department is located. It was set up underground because if it is set up underground, it will not threaten the village in the first place if any danger occurs, and it can give the villagers a chance to retreat in time. At this moment, Gaara is being held in a room with seal spells all over his body. Outside the room, there is also a Bagua formation engraved. It seems that they are always ready to deal with the rampage of the one-tailed Shukaku. Lord Tianyu. The guarding ninja, seeing Tianyu coming, knelt on one knee and saluted directly. Get up, I am here to take Gaara to the Sands village under the order of Tsunade. Give him to me. Tianyu said lightly. Along the way, Tianyu has become numb to this kind of admiring gaze. After all, Tianyu also knows that he is too handsome, but this is the bad thing. He has to deal with being watched and admired by thousands of people every day, which really puts a little burden on him. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 197 Naruto recovers. Yes. The guard stood up and saw Hoshigaki Kisame standing behind Tianyu. Although he already knew that Hoshigaki Kisame had joined Konoha. But seeing the people of that organization following Tianyu all of a sudden really made the guard a little uncomfortable. The door was opened. Gaara turned and looked at them. His eyes were extremely indifferent, as if he was extremely indifferent to life. The word love on his forehead was particularly glaring. The dark circles under his eyes were almost as thick as a panda. The people of the sealing squad tore off the chains on Gaara's body, and then added sealing spells to the chains on his feet. After doing this, Gaara was brought to Tianyu. Sir, Gaara can be taken away now. The people of the sealing squad said respectfully to Tianyu. Well, let's go. Tianyu looked at Gaara. Like Naruto, he had a miserable childhood. After his mother died, his father treated him as a monster and a weapon, and he was even assassinated many times by people sent by his father. The only person who was good to him died in his own hands. Gaara had an extremely unfortunate childhood. The fourth generation Kazekage Raza also died in the hands of Orochimaru, and Gaara's father also died. Although he still has a sister and a brother, those two people are only afraid of Gaara now. They can't provide Gaara with any family affection at all. The only difference is that unlike Naruto, Gaara does not have such a strong heart that he can't turn evil and can still be a lively and cute little son. Instead, he fell into killing early. He used absolute force to make people dare not attack him. This made Tianyu very emotional. If the ninja world could be peaceful, there would not be so many miserable people in this world. And the root of all this is nothing more than the ambition of others. The people of Konoha are finally going to kill me. Gaara said in a very indifferent tone. He no longer cares about life and death. As a Jinchuriki, if he can't kill others, he can only be killed by others. His hands have long been stained with the blood of many people. It's his turn to have this day. No, we'll send you back. Tianyu said in the same indifferent tone. After that, Tianyu didn't communicate with Gaara anymore, and let Hoshigaki Kisame pull the chain and take Gaara away from the seal department. Along the way, when someone looked at them, their eyes were full of admiration and respect. But when they passed the entrance of the village, Naruto was sitting at the ferry by the river, looking up at the sunset. He looked so lonely. Looking at this scene, Tianyu stopped. It seems that Minato Namikaze and Kushina should have left. Tianyu couldn't imagine what Naruto looked like after he found out that Minato Namikaze and Kushina had left. But it must be very painful. After a lot of effort, his parents came back, but it was only a short month, and they were lost again. Getting and then losing is more painful than never getting it. Because when he got it, he made people taste the taste of being loved and pampered. Hoshigaki Kisame also found Naruto. But he didn't dare to speak. This village gave him too many painful memories. Being mistaken for beach volleyball or something. Forget it. Gaara also saw Naruto. This was the person who participated in the Chunin exam like him, the one with long golden hair, who made it to the finals by luck. Gaara still remembered him. Naruto. Brother Tianyu. Tianyu's words made Naruto turn around. Naruto seemed to be surprised to see Tianyu here. He was a little surprised for a moment, but he quickly ran to Tianyu's side. Naruto, why are you here? Didn't Jiraiya teach you today? Tianyu asked. Well, the old man, the Sessinin, went to collect some folk songs, leaving me alone to play. When Naruto talked about Jiraiya, he was obviously dissatisfied. Because, Jiraiya, that guy, obviously went to peek at girls, and he was so shameless to say that he went to collect folk songs, which was really too much? Is that so? Then you. Tianyu just opened his mouth and wanted to comfort Naruto, but he didn't know what to say. Naruto probably didn't want to be comforted at this moment. Brother Tianyu, I know what you want to say, but don't worry, I'm fine, and I'm really happy. I originally thought I was an orphan and had no parents, but I didn't expect that my father was the fourth Hokage. He's so amazing. Thinking back to the time when I was scribbling on his sculpture, I feel a little guilty. And my mother is so beautiful. Although she forces me to eat vegetables when I don't eat them, and her hair stands up when she gets angry, my parents are really great. Naruto smiled as he spoke. But everyone knew that Naruto was enduring the pain in his heart. And I also told them that the current village, Brother Tianyu, has been reformed, and it will be better. I wanted to become a Hokage before because I wanted to be recognized by the whole village, but now, I still want to become a Hokage, but I want to be a useful person to the village like my father, like Brother Tianyu. I will work hard, even if it takes a long time. And, Naruto said, pointing in the direction of the Hokage rock. Father, you've been watching me. Naruto said a lot of things by himself. Although he was sad, he still cheered up and prepared to live every day well. Because this month with his parents was enough to comfort Naruto in the next few years. These words also made Tianyu understand that Naruto no longer needed comfort. He has become very strong now. He is worthy of being called the golden little son. Okay, big brother believes in you. You will definitely become a Hokage. Go back, have lunch early. Don't fill your stomach with instant noodles casually. Tianyu smiled. No, I will eat a big bowl of Ichiraku ramen today. This is what Kakashi said he would treat me to. Sasuke and Sakura will also go. It's rare that Kakashi treats me, I must eat enough. Naruto regained his optimistic and cheerful temperament. When talking about Ichiraku ramen, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but rise. His eyes narrowed. Well, okay, then go quickly. Tianyu smiled and rubbed Naruto's head. Well, as expected, blonde hair feels good. Goodbye, Brother Tianyu. Naruto smiled as he ran towards Ichiraku ramen, looking very lively. Goodbye. Tianyu watched Naruto walk away, then continued to take Hoshigaki Kisame and Gaara to the Sands Village. Chapter 198 Gaara's Outburst. Along the way, Hoshigaki Kisame and Gaara didn't say a word. Hoshigaki Kisame was afraid of Tengu's power. He was afraid that if he said something wrong, he would be killed by Tengu's 8 gates. Besides, even if he was not killed, He couldn't stand being beaten like a volleyball. Gaara was originally a taciturn person. You might as well expect him to speak. It's better for the sun to rise from the west. At noon, they had walked out of Konoha and came to the Death Forest in the Land of Fire. To go to the Sand Village, you have to pass through the Death Forest, reach the border of the Land of Fire, and then walk through the desert of the Land of Wind. The center of the desert is the Sand Village. Take a break. Tengu tied the other end of the chain that bound Gaara to the tree. Then he took out the lunchbox made by Tenten and Hinata for him. Hinata's craftsmanship is naturally impeccable, and the taste is very good. The taste made Hoshigaki Kisame swallow his saliva. After all, what he ate in prison these days were tasteless rice balls. Now, smelling the aroma of food, it is indeed hard to resist. Gaara did not show any expression. Anyway, when he was in the Sand Village before, he basically ate some convenient food, and no one dared to approach him and cook for him. Eat quickly, don't look at me. Tianyu threw a wooden fish rice ball to Hoshigaki Kisame. This was bought from the shopping street when he left. It should taste good. By the way, Tianyu also threw one to Gaara. Hoshigaki Kisame heard this and hurriedly picked up the rice ball, opened it and ate it. While eating, he silently shed tears in his heart. This thing tastes really good. As for Gaara, he did not move and had no intention of eating the rice ball. But maybe the sun really rose from the west today. After walking for a while, Gaara actually looked at Tianyu and spoke. That Naruto, he is also a Jinchuuriki. Gaara's voice was very hoarse, and he hadn't spoken for a long time. After all, people are afraid of him on weekdays, let alone talking. I dare not even look at him. Tianyu listened to this and turned to look at Gaara. Yes, that's right, he is indeed the Jinchuuriki of the Nine Tails. It is estimated that the 5 major countries have long known about Naruto's affairs, so Tianyu has nothing to hide. Nine Tails, huh? Gaara sneered, as if he thought of something. What are you sneering at? Tianyu looked at Gaara and asked. If it were normal, Tianyu would never care about Gaara. He would do whatever he wanted. As long as he stayed at ease, everything would be fine. But now that Hoshigaki Kisame didn't say anything along the way, Tianyu also felt quite bored. It was not easy for Gaara to say a few words, and Tianyu also wanted to pay attention to him. After all, the road to the Sand Village would take at least 2 days. If he was surrounded by such silent people, Tianyu would be a little unbearable. It would be better for him to escort Gaara alone. I just think he's stupid. He has enough power in his body, but he doesn't use it. Gaara replied. Perhaps Gaara also felt that the detention these days seemed a bit lonely. So he began to answer Tianyu's questions. Oh, then according to your idea, if you were Naruto, what would you do? Tianyu asked with a smile. Of course, I would kill all those who dared to hurt me, every one of them, and then feel the blood and the temperature flowing from their bodies before they died, and then watch them slowly die in front of me. That taste is really very happy. Gaara's smile was a little crazy. Not necessarily. No one would feel happy when life disappears. You are just deceiving yourself. Tianyu sneered. Tianyu, but he knew Gaara's past. So now Gaara in front of Tianyu is just a little kid who desperately wants to get love but can't get it. Why pretend to be an adult in front of him? I didn't. That's what I thought. It's a pity that he wasted such a powerful force in his body. Gaara still insisted. You let him not waste the power in his body. Whether it's the Nine Tails or his own power, he is using that power to fight for what he wants. Naruto's dream is to become a Hokage who can protect the village like his father, so even if Naruto is a Jinchuuriki, he will work towards this direction. But you are different. Although you are also a Jinchuuriki, you think about killing and venting. Even if you get a powerful force, who will respect you? I think those people in your village should not be happy when they see you come back, but they can't live without you, because your existence is just a weapon for the Sand Village. Tianyu mercilessly revealed Gaara's scars. What do you know? You don't know my past at all. What qualifications do you have to judge me? In my eyes, you are just people who stand on high and point fingers at me. Everyone wants to use me. What qualifications do you have? Gaara suddenly broke down and yelled at Tianyu. Then Tianyu saw that the seal on Gaara's body was constantly being impacted. And Gaara's body was also changing. One of his arms was repaired and restored to the appearance of a tailed beast. And as the seal continued to change, Gaara's body was also constantly changing into a tailed beast. Tianyu was speechless watching this scene. It was just a few casual words, there was no need to be so fragile. I didn't expect that it would break the seal and turn into a tailed beast. It was really a bit helpless. Are you going to do it? Hoshigaki Kisame was also a little stunned when he saw this scene. He didn't expect that after just a few words, the one-tailed Jinchuriki in front of him would actually turn into a tailed beast. You have to know that if you continue to activate the tailed beast under the seal, the pain your body will endure is 5 times that of an ordinary person. That kind of pain is simply unimaginable. I didn't expect that this little brat could actually endure it. And he even wanted to break free from the seal. This surprised Hoshigaki Kisame. Of course, otherwise you would wait for the tailed beast to appear and dance a waltz for you. Tianyu said helplessly. Why did Hoshigaki Kisame become stupid after he came out? He was not so stupid before. Is he hungry? Chapter 199 Shukaku's outburst. Because of Gaara's cooperation, the seal soon lost its effect. The body of the one-tailed Shukaku also became huge. Soon, a tailed beast that was several dozen meters tall, with earthy yellow skin and dark blue patterns on it, and looked like a raccoon appeared in front of Amaji and Hoshigaki Kisame. After the one-tailed Shukaku appeared, Hoshigaki Kisame rushed up without hesitation. Then, in the surprised eyes of Amaji, he raised his hand high, waved Samehoda, and hit the instep of a Shukaku with all his strength. Amaji was speechless watching this scene. Hey, are you pedicuring the tailed beast? Better, come up with some effective attacks. Hearing this, Hoshigaki Kisame's figure shook slightly. I don't know if he was hit by Amaji's words, anyway. The next moment. Water escape, big shark bullet. Hoshigaki Kisame made a seal without hesitation, and the seawater gushed out from all around. Under the surging water, a huge water shark rushed straight to the one-tailed Shukaku. Practice air bullet. The one-tailed Shukaku's shrill voice appeared, and then he took a deep breath. He spit out the air bullet that was compressed to the extreme from his mouth. Puff. The air bullet passed through the water shark. The two exploded in the air and made a beautiful splash. The water stains broken by the big shark bullet successfully wet the surrounding forest. You are more suitable to be a gardener. Tianyu looked at this scene and couldn't help but complain. One-tailed Shukaku, brother. The tailed beast that controls the sand actually thought of using water to attack, which is really helpless. Get out of my way. Tianyu gave an order. Hoshigaki Kisame turned around and retreated without hesitation. The speed of this escape is really quite fast. Why did you change someone? I haven't had enough fun yet. One-tailed Shukaku looked at Tianyu with his little eyes and couldn't help saying. Yes, I'll play with you. Tianyu smiled and took out the ice ring pill. The ice ring pill flashed with a cold light in the sun and emitted a slight chill. The feeling coming from Tianyu made one-tailed Shukaku feel a little dangerous. If you want to play, let's do it next time. I remembered that I have something to do. I'm leaving first. With that, one-tailed Shukaku was about to turn into sand and disappear. The idiot continued to fight. He finally woke up from the body of the Jinchuriki. Now occupying the body, the Jinchuriki voluntarily fell into deep sleep. Of course, he had to go out and have a good time, and destroy the sand village by the way. He didn't want to waste time here. Let's go, where do you want to go? Tianyu smiled and then flew into the air. 1,000-year ice prison. The next moment, more than a dozen huge ice pillars appeared in the death forest. The moment these ice pillars appeared, the temperature around them instantly dropped by 5 or 6 degrees. Snowflakes began to float in the air. Inside the icicles, moisture condensed instantly. After that, the icicles closed up instantly, and in almost an instant, they trapped the one-tailed Shukaku inside. A practice bullet. The one-tailed Shukaku would not sit still and wait for death. He took a deep breath and quickly compressed the air, shooting it out like a bullet. The only difference from the practice bullet just now was that the practice bullets fired by the current Shukaku were as big as boulders. One shot was enough to knock a deep pit in the ground, hitting the icicles. For a moment, ice flowers flew everywhere. You can't trap me. The one-tailed Shukaku swung his tail and opened his mouth. That may not be the case. Tianyu smiled. What? The one-tailed Shukaku looked at the fragments around him that were broken and instantly condensed into an ice wall. He felt that he had been deceived. So he was instantly furious. Wind style, Sand shot countless sands condensed into bullet-like balls and spewed out at Tianyu at a very fast speed. Facing this, Tianyu smiled slightly. The next second, he directly performed the Flying Thunder God technique and easily placed a Flying Thunder God technique mark on Shukaku's back. Ah, the desert layer burial seal. Shukaku was teased. He became angry. In just a moment, the one-tailed Shukaku let out a roar. Then, the surrounding land collapsed instantly. The ground sank, and the rocks below were broken and condensed into sand. The desert-like waves directly emerged. Sand waves as high as tens of meters rushed towards Tianyu in an instant. In the yellow sand, Tianyu's figure disappeared. Then, Shukaku's seal pattern appeared on the sand. The next moment, a spire like a building block appeared on the ground. It should be sealed now. The one-tailed Shukaku looked at the huge building block spire and was finally satisfied. But, hey, are you looking for me? Tianyu landed on the back of the one-tailed Shukaku from the sky. What? This is impossible. The one-tailed Shukaku was confused. This is impossible. He clearly saw the person in front of him, who has been sealed. What's going on? Nothing. Since you're done, it's my turn. 8 gates of ninjutsu, the 6th gate, Jingmen open. After Tianyu finished speaking, instantly, Hashigaki Kisame hit his body directly. He was really scared by the 8 gates of ninjutsu. Although he knew in his heart that this time, the target of the 8 gates of ninjutsu would not be him, he couldn't help but trigger the instinctive reaction of his body. Towards the peacock. Boom. Tianyu's speed instantly became extremely fast. The air around him rubbed, and something like flames appeared. It was like the wings of a peacock when it flew. Ah! The continuous swinging of fists hit the one-tailed Shukaku hard one by one. The speed of Flying Thunder God made the one-tailed Shukaku unable to catch Tianyu's figure. Tianyu even deliberately attacked the one-tailed Shukaku in a roundabout way. It made the one-tailed Shukaku keep turning in circles. In the end, when it stopped, the one-tailed Shukaku felt that there were stars all over his head. The last move. Ice Dragon Spin Tail Absolute Sky. Tianyu collected the 8 gates, held the ice wheel pill in his hand, and swung a knife at the one-tailed Shukaku without hesitation. At that moment, the ice blade continued to spread from the blade, until it completely covered the one-tailed Shukaku. Then, the gorgeous ice flowers froze a 100-meter ice sculpture blade on the ground. At this point, the ice sculpture of the one-tailed Shukaku is completely completed. Get back to Gaara's body. Tianyu's last blow hit Shukaku's head. Only a whine was heard. The huge body of the one-tailed Shukaku is constantly shrinking. Slowly to the end. All disappeared. The body of a young man fell from mid-air. Chapter 200 touched. At this time, Tianyu kicked Hashigaki Kisame. Why don't you hurry up and catch him? If he falls to death, how can we send him to the Sand Village? As soon as Tianyu finished speaking, Hashigaki Kisame immediately rushed forward and caught Gaara at the moment when he was about to fall to the ground. Ahem, why? Gaara looked at Tianyu in disbelief. Gaara had seen the battle just now. In his opinion, Tianyu was just teasing Shukaku in the battle just now. He had the power to overwhelm Shukaku. But after teasing for a while, he beat Shukaku into his body. Why? Do you want to ask why I caught you? Or do you want to ask why I didn't kill you? Tianyu hugged his arms and looked at Gaara and said slowly. Gaara was silent. It seems that you want to know the answers to both questions. I also said that if you fell from such a height and died, how could he send you to the Sand Village to exchange for those things? And killing you is ridiculous. You are just a naughty child who can't get love and wants to get others' attention by killing. But what I get is always fear, so why should I kill a naughty child? Besides, even if Shukaku goes berserk, I am fully capable of suppressing him. Killing the Jinchuriki is not a good choice. I don't have the time to accompany the Sand Village to find another Jinchuriki and repeat the hurt you suffered in your childhood. Tianyu curled his lips. No, you don't understand anything at all. You don't understand what I have suffered, and you don't understand why I hate them so much? Gaara lowered his head, and at that moment he seemed a little fragile. Yes, Gaara is only 12 years old now. Still a child. A child like Naruto. Suddenly, my heart softened. You know what? Naruto's childhood was not much better than yours. As the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, he should have been the hero of the village, but for some reason, he was hated by the village and called a demon fox. He grew up in hatred and fear. and Naruto should have been full of hatred for this village like you, but he was born a little son. He is used to silently digesting all the bad things about himself and always showing his cheerful side to others, just like the sun silently warming others, just like his father. Naruto did not live in hatred and the indifference of others, and now the truth is out. Naruto is the son of the fourth Hokage, the son of a hero, and he himself is a hero. The attitude of the villagers is slowly improving towards him, and Naruto has gained a lot of friends because of this. This also shows that the attitude of the people around you is important, but what you think is more important. If you are willing to keep smiling forever, then one day you will be accepted by others. But if you hide your true self and treat others with killing and blood, then you will always get killing and blood, fear and terror. I have said all. Anyway, the road ahead is yours to walk. And this time, after sending you back to the Sand Village, whether you continue to be a weapon of the village or want to become something else, everything else is up to you. It is rare for Tianyu to talk so much with Gaara in one breath. After all, with the current class, he has long been uninterested in the affairs of little brats like Gaara. However, the guard Gaara had a pitiful childhood, and the future Gaara is the 5th generation Kazekage, so he said a few more words. Has Naruto also suffered those things? Gaara said. He seemed to be questioning Tianyu, but also seemed to be muttering to himself. Yes. How could he not have suffered those things? How terrible is the Jinchuriki? I am afraid that no one in the village will forget it. Gaara dare not forget those memories for a moment. But now when I think back on it, it seems like a passing cloud, and I don't hate it that much. Why is that? Maybe it's because I realize that in this world, even if you are treated like this, there is still another way to live. After a long struggle, I stopped the rampaging Shukaku again. The surrounding forests were destroyed a lot. But I believe that this place will be full of trees again soon. After the fight, it was already dark. I found an open space to rest. After eating something casually at night, everyone began to rest. This time, Tianyu didn't put anklets on Gaara again, nor did he put a sealing spell on him. Anyway, if Gaara wanted to run, even if he put on these, he could still endure the pain in his body and let Shukaku run away. And if Gaara didn't want to run, there was no need to put anklets on him. 2 days later, Tianyu, Hashigaki Kisame, and Gaara finally crossed the desert and came to the Sand Village. Chiyo, Maki, Kankuro, and Temari were all waiting for them at the entrance of the village. After seeing the two of them coming, Granny Chiyo took a step forward. Is that Master Amaji? We have already received the news and are waiting here. Please follow us in. Granny Chiyo glanced at Gaara and was a little surprised. It seemed that she was a little surprised that she didn't put the chains and sealing spells on Gaara. But fortunately, the people have been sent back safely. Then Granny Chiyo wouldn't say much. Temari and Kankuro glanced at Gaara. They are Gaara's brothers and sisters, and they still have some family affection for Gaara. They are also worried about Gaara's current state. But the one who was more shocked was Maki. Because he saw with his own eyes that the mummified ghost Kisame, who was supposed to invade Konoha, was now following behind Amaji like a follower. This contrast made him a little bit unable to come back to his senses for a while. It was only after Granny Chiyo glared at him fiercely that he reacted and followed behind him. Well, let's go. Amaji nodded and followed them into the Sand Village. To be honest, this is Tianyu's first time to the Sand Village. As expected, there is yellow sand everywhere. There are no tall buildings in this village. The only 4-story building is the office building of the Kazekage. As for the houses on the streets, they are built like fortresses to resist the wind and sand. There are very few plants on the streets. Compared with the beautiful mountains and rivers of Konoha, this place is basically a desert with no grass. However, there is still a small stream in the Sand Village. This is also a rare water source. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.